right, super ready for Christmas. I've got my gingerbread men cooking in the oven. Got my John Denver and the Muppets album playing over there. I've got my weird jelly decals up. This is gonna be great. Oh my god, I love Christmas. What the heck is that? Hello? Who's there? Oh my god. Okay, I'm coming.
Hey,
Matt?
Roses.
What are you doing out there, buddy?
Hey, thanks for letting me. I'm here for Christmas.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember inviting you.
All right, just taking off my snowy boots
Okay.
here and my coat, and oh, look, a cozy little chair. I'll sit down in here.
Yeah,
Oh, you got some
okay.
eggnog for me. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Come on in.
Wow.
I've got some gingerbread men in the oven. I've got my John Denver and the Muppets album playing. I know you like the Muppets.
I do like the Muppets. I prefer the soundtrack to Muppet Christmas Carol, but I'll listen to some John Denver and the Muppets. Sure. Yeah, thanks for not inviting me over. I really needed something to do on this Christmas Eve, Christmas no time. It's time adjacent to Christmas.
Well, you know what? It is Christmas, so I'm glad you're here, Matt.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too. How are you enjoying your Christmas blank so far?
I love Christmas. Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. Halloween, Christmas, the ultimate holidays for me.
The ultimate holiday, Halloween, Christmas.
Halloween.
It's the Christmas where we all dress up in scary outfits, and I guess that is how people used to celebrate Christmas, though, huh?
Yeah. No, I love it. I love all the Muppet Christmas things. I love eggnog. I love Christmas dinner. I even like the music that's overplayed. I really enjoy Christmas. It's one of the last memories I have with my parents. Not at the same time. They died at different times, but they each died around Christmas or after Christmas. So yeah, I like it. I try to take it all in. What about you, Matt? How are you doing? You've been playing any Christmassy games?
Yeah, I love Christmas. I love eggnog. I love I love Christmas treats. I love presents. I love giving and getting presents. I love a Christmas tree. So, I decided this year I'd pick up some new Christmas games.
Oh, great.
I've been playing a lot of them with my friends who I hope it's okay. I invited them all over.
You did?
To your cabin. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I told them it was our cabin. So, some friends of mine should be showing up throughout. Some friends of ours, actually.
Oh, well, okay.
Should be showing up throughout the evening to talk about all these games we played together. You'll remember we played a lot of them all together in a big chair with us and all our friends. Remember?
Oh, right. That was very cozy.
Mm-hmm. I got really sick after that. So I don't recommend sitting in a chair with that many people. But
Sorry, I had the plague. It's my bad.
But I played a couple before that. I played two specific games that I found on they were the same bundle on Steam. The first one was called Christmas Nightmare.
Oh, right.
And the second one, I have to even look it up. Christmas Nightmare and Lonely Christmas. Now, these games are horror Christmas games where they've used basically the same exact assets.
Right.
They have the same premise, which is you are alone in a house on Christmas and something scary is terrorizing you. And it's just a series of fucking jump scares. So the first game, I'd say Christmas Nightmare tried to do something a little artistic. It's a little bit. Where both of them, they're very high definition. But it's all, clearly like pre-rendered assets that they bought.
Yeah.
And then just compiled together. And so you start out like in the street, just lighting off fireworks for some reason, and then you keep getting notes from your neighbors like mad at you for lighting off their fireworks that they were saving for New Year's, and then you do it again, and then they whatever. You go to the store to get some groceries, and there's like some fake scares, like some fake jump scares, like, oh no, where's the cashier? Oh, what's that noise in the back? And then it turns into this it's a man who's just shitting wildly in the
What?
bathroom.
Like
Yeah.
literally?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Ah.
behind a door, but it is like the worst, grossest scatological noises you've ever heard just coming from behind this door. And it's like, oh, God, okay. I kind of want to stop playing now, but I'm going to see this through. And then it's about 20 more minutes of you just walking around your house while like a goblin is like tormenting you, like a little Christmas gremlin, and like kills your child and your wife and wraps them up in gift wrap and leaves them places.
That's
and, like,
hard news.
but
this doesn't sound like... So, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a game with a Christmas Band-Aid on it, like a setting.
Well, yeah, the theme is Christmas.
It doesn't have to be a Christmas game.
Everything in the house is Christmassy.
Okay.
And then it's like, you're alone on Christmas because you got in a fight with your wife and she left. And the end of the game is you wake up from this horrible dream and you call her and apologize, and that's And so that's what I'm saying is it's trying to do something artistic. Like there's a point there a little bit, just a very glib and shitty one. And then Christmas, Lonely Christmas is you are hey, tell me if this one sounds familiar. You're a child named Kevin who was left alone on Christmas while your parents left. I know.
Never heard anything like it.
So you sort of you wake up and this was funny because it's like these are both like survival horror not survival, just horror walking simulators, jump scare things. But because you're a kid, you're just like a little shorter than everything, which I thought was really funny for a while. Do you remember in was it is it What Remains of Edith Finch, where at one point, a couple points, you become a kid, and then your just perspective is slightly lower.
Yes, yeah. That's true. I think don't you become like a baby and stuff as well? Yeah,
and just that switch of perspective while you're in first person is for some reason so fucking funny. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I am a little lower to the ground. But it is, there's like, you're just like walking around the house doing Christmas chores, chopping down a tree, decorating it. And then a guy comes to deliver your pizza. But at the same time, you find out there's a killer on the loose. And of course, the guy who delivered your pizza is the killer. And he's in a jester's outfit. And he's just like, you just have to basically run back and forth around the half loop of this house.
Okay.
Waiting for more jump scares to pop out.
Yeah.
And that's how the story unfolds. You just walk to the one end, something happens. You walk to the other end, something happens. It's literally just that.
Okay.
And he like murders your parents at one point, and you end the game by stabbing him to death. And then you wake up from a dream. Just like the last one, just like the last game. And by the way, there is a fireworks setting off thing. It is literally, some of the assets are 100% the same.
Of course.
And these are by different people. I don't know if there's like a community of people that makes these like really shitty horror games, but
right.
And if you're listening and you made one of these games and you weren't intending to just get people's money and this is something that's passionate for you, then I'm very sorry, but I can't imagine that's true. But then you wake up and then you go downstairs, you open your present, and it is like a figurine of the murderer. The end.
Great.
So that's Lonely Christmas and Christmas Nightmare.
Merry Christmas.
Don't buy that. They were both 40 minutes long. And bad.
Oh, wow, that's short.
And cheap and like cheaply made. And that's.
Okay. Well, the good news is, Matt, thank you for your service of playing and reporting back of these terrible, quote, Christmas games. The good news is we played some really interesting.
Not necessarily good.
Yeah, not necessarily good, but longer, more detailed. We played some games, some Christmas games with our friends, as we said, and we're going to talk to you all about them in hopes of giving you some Christmas cheer, holiday cheer.
And you know what? Actually, let me pull this blanket off. You might have noticed I brought in this large object covered in a blanket. Our first guest is actually just in the room, so let's go to some incidental music, and I will pull the blanket off of their head.
everyone. Welcome back to Save Your Game. So happy that you could be with us here today. I have with me two very special guests. My very cozy, very lovely, very holiday spirit, my co-host Matt Aukamp. Matt, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here with my robe on and
You have a robe?
I have a robe and
Dang.
the snow is fluttering outside the window,
Oh.
and I should probably close it, so I'm gonna go do that while you introduce our guest.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for that input. With us today, the amazing Julia Minamata of Crimson Diamond fame. Julia, thank you so much for being here with us for this holiday extravaganza.
Thanks so much, Roses, and thank you, Matt. I hope he's back from the window and could hear me thanking him. But
Oh,
thank you.
Julia,
Mm.
how are you doing? How are you this holiday season?
Ooh, yeah, it's a quiet season for me this year, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of enjoying it. It's been hectic. It was hectic for a little while there, with the game and all,
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
the Crimson Diamond release and like updates and patches and fixes. But yeah, it's just the perfect time to just slow it right down and come chill out with some folks and talk Christmas games. And I'm looking forward to just a peaceful time this year.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's awesome. So, speaking of a peaceful Christmas time and Christmas games, the three of us all played a game
Mm.
called Milo and the Christmas Gift.
I mean,
yeah.
did I play or did Matt force me to play it?
Aw.
No, that's our dynamic, honestly, is Matt thinks of a game, I'm like, I don't know about this game, and then I play it anyway.
And at least half the time, you love it.
Yeah, I would say even probably more than half the time.
Overall impressions, what did you guys both think of this game?
It was really cute and cozy. I love the illustration style. It looks like a children's book.
Mm.
I hadn't played a game like this in a while, and I had to recalibrate my brain to be like puzzle logic. And I gotta say, like, my brain doesn't really work that way. And I did have to consult a walkthrough. So I'm sorry. That's my confession, my Christmas confession.
Oh, we don't mind that.
I'll give a Christmas confession too. I also had to consult a walkthrough.
I am not going to say anything.
Oh.
I admit nothing.
I don't think my brain works like that.
It's
Yeah.
one of those games where the puzzles are not like diegetic, right? It's not like, oh, you have to think about what you need to accomplish and then what, tools or things in the atmosphere you have to accomplish that goal. It's like these disjointed puzzles where it's like, oh, you have to open a lock and you have to look at things in the environment like, oh, there's the color on the lock is white and there's 4 white candles or whatever, so it's number 4. Like, it's stuff like that, and it's like, did somebody really sit down when they were coming up with this like, they were like, all right, I need a good combination for my shed lock. Let's see, there'll always be 3 white candles in my backyard.
Well, that's the thing, right? I feel like I'm probably fortunate that my brain doesn't really work like that, because certainly, most of the time the real world just simply doesn't work that way. So probably for the best.
Yeah, what a weird kind of puzzle, because technically it is a logic puzzle, but it is illogical by the way Matt is speaking about it. It's like, no, but why do we have 3 bells outside? So it's like, it's
always for all eternity.
Yeah, we have a logic puzzle. It's not moon logic. It's not inventory based, but it's so illogical that it's kind of infuriating. And can we just talk about the main issue here? Why did that little girl leave the door open?
Okay, let's talk about the plot of Milo.
Oh yeah, the plot, yes.
All right. So it's by, the basic details, it's by Second Maze Games, and it's published by Second Maze Games, which published like The White Door, which is one of the Rusty Lake games. and it's by a guy named oh man, I'm gonna butcher this. Johann Schurft.
Okay.
Do you guys think it's Johann Schurft?
Could be Scurfed. I don't know.
Schurft. But it is he released a game a few years ago or was it last year? Called Milo and the Magpies. And it is this. It's exactly this. It's like this story about a little cat and his misadventures, and this is his free Christmas game that he actually released. Okay, so Milo and the Magpies was 2022. This was released last year. I guess we're just getting around to playing it now. But the backgrounds are like fully hand drawn and it's either hand painted or like colored pencils.
Is it really?
Looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be. I'm watching him make it now, and it's watercolor.
Okay, it looks like almost like a combo of like watercolor and maybe like watercolor pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's giving it. It's a kind of extreme, like children's book kind of look.
And then you play a little cat.
Okay, first of all, I have to stop you, Matt, because I didn't know who we were in the game. I thought initially that I was the cat because it's called Milo and the Christmas Gift, and so there's the cat, and then there's the bunny, but things happen. Like, does the cat plug the phone in? What is happening?
That is you are on some level. I guess you're an all powerful god.
Yeah, so I feel like that's who we are. We're an all powerful god, and not the cat or the bunny or anybody else in this.
Oh my God, yeah, and rather than playing the cat, you are prodding the cat.
Yeah,
you're
like,
guiding. Yeah, that's how I felt. That you're guiding
anything,
the cat,
buddy.
Yeah,
it's kind of like one of those like an Amanita game, right? You are this powerful third party who just gets to poke things and see what they do.
It's very what's the word? What are those children living books? There we go. It was very living book to me because you're on before you can advance. It's not open world, right? You are on a screen. You have to figure out the puzzles, and you're just kind of prodding things and looking around, and it's so illustrative. It reminded me of like a children's living book.
Yeah, I think that's right. And the plot here is, as Julia said, you're focused. Now I don't even know how to.
We don't even know what this.
There's a cat. There's a friggin' cat. His name is Milo, and the little girl who owns the cat, and which I guess was all stuff that happened in Milo and the Magpies. She gets a little bunny for Christmas.
So cute.
And the cat at first is pissed. But then like really quickly makes it. I thought that was what the game was going to be about. Like, oh, cat's pissed at bunny.
Yeah. And they have to like come to terms and like be friends or something.
Right. But no, they become friends like immediately.
Yeah.
And this freaking little girl just immediately, she just opened her bunny. She just got it. She lets it run away like immediately.
The door is open.
Well, we don't know that she left the door open. It could have been her mom left the room and left the door open. We don't know.
You're right.
I'm on team little girl. I'm on team little girl.
Allegedly. Yeah, someone left the door open.
Somebody
left the door open and the bunny got out. Yeah. And the cat's like, don't worry. I've got this.
Yeah, I got this. I got this. It's fine. I was looking at that door the whole time, you guys. I just knew. I'm like, oh my God, the door's open. Just the door's open. There's wild animals in here. Well, there is a bunny. The cat's maybe not a wild animal, but yeah, I was mad that the little girl didn't even notice.
Yeah, you'd think she would be like focused on the bunny.
Yeah, I would be.
Me
Give
too.
me a bunny. I'm pretty focused on the bunny.
I'd be pissed if I was the parents and I'm like, we just gave you a bunny and you immediately lost interest in it.
Well, and also the fact that she doesn't seem to appear in the rest of the game, like she's not looking for the bunny, so she just let it go out, and she's like, well, I guess that's that.
Yeah, well, guess the bunny's wild again.
Whoever comes back, comes back. I don't know.
Literally went next door. The girl was like, too hard.
Too hard. I mean, it is snowing out,
Mhm.
so it's winter. She don't want to go out in that.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. It's probably cold
Mhm.
enough out there to freeze your Winnebago. Sorry, Muppets reference. So,
That's
yeah.
not
So,
that's not even accessible Muppets, Matt.
no.
That's Muppet for you and I only.
Did you ever see Muppet Family Christmas, Julia?
I have, but it was many years ago.
It's the funniest.
The best.
It's the funniest Christmas special that
Mm.
exists. So the bunny flees into like a neighboring yard, and the cat comes, and this is where I got confused like immediately.
Oh boy.
There's a man lighting off fireworks in his own backyard.
Also, why? What is wrong with this man? Go on. It's
He's
okay.
not even doing it. Yeah, he's not doing it for the entertainment of anyone. He's alone. Yeah, how did you guys all deal with these puzzles? Like, how did this?
Poorly.
I
Julia,
was
how did
stumped. I was stumped immediately. And you know what's so funny is because the way the game looks, it looks like a children's book, so you feel like it would be easy, and then when it's
Yeah.
not easy, you're like, "Am I, not so smart of a person?" And there's something wrong with me clearly.
Well, the first puzzle, and we're just gonna spoil it, guys, because whatever. There's a bunch of lights hanging off a tree, and they happen to be in numbered segments,
Mhm.
just like between, like before they're interrupted by a branch. It's one segment is 1, and one's 2, and one's 3, 4, 5. Because you just have to click them in order. But why? What's going on?
Yeah. I hate, guys. I truly hate that puzzle. Like, I truly hate it. I didn't like the other puzzle that was on the same screen because, like I think I mentioned earlier, you are on single screens,
Mhm.
and you progress the story by figuring out the puzzles within that screen. I do. This is not a Roses game. This is not.
Mm.
It is about a cat, so you'd think it is, but the puzzles I don't like. I love how cute it is.
Yeah.
I love me some cats and I love me some bunnies, and I kind of like maybe you guys felt this way too, the whimsical kind of warm nature of
Mhm.
it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Julie, you mentioned the phone. I guess you'd call it a puzzle here.
That's where I was suddenly starting to believe that I wasn't the cat.
Right.
Because what would that guy think if this cat just darted out from the fence and just plugged his phone in? And so yeah, that's kind of incredible. Like it was a cool like item combination. I wish there was kind of some more like item combination puzzles in the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, like overall, I feel like yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Roses that these types of puzzles are really not my cup of tea, but it's super charming and it was a kind of a relaxed type of game. And because you were restricted to one, screen at a time, the confusion was somewhat minimized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You could just kind of click around and stuff would happen, and
Yeah.
there were some hidden things that were kind of a little fun to discover. And I did
Oh,
have the
Yeah.
walkthrough, so that was all good.
It was fun to find the hidden stuff too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go back with a walkthrough and
Mhm.
find the other hidden stuff because I only found like 3. But
Yeah, but yeah, this is this is only the second room of the game, but yeah, it kind of sets in real quick that you're gonna have to use your different brain for this one.
yeah,
Yep.
your nothing really makes sense brain.
Mm.
Yeah. And for a logical puzzle game, that's odd. There's a little bit of a disconnect for
And
me.
I'm gonna say, you say this is only the second screen, but there's 3 screens in the game.
Yeah, there's not many screens. It's true.
We're almost done with the plot here, right? Like the cat frees a bunny. The bunny accidentally gets locked in a shed. The cat frees the bunny. Or we free the bunny.
Somebody
Yeah,
frees
God
the bunny.
frees the bunny.
God freed the bunny.
Us, comma, God, comma, frees the bunny.
No, God, the literal.
And then a man takes the bunny, and you're like, what did you guys think when the man took the? Well, okay, I guess before that, the bunny and the cat have a real like choreographed dance through the snow.
It's very Titanic.
It was my favorite part of the whole game, I have to tell you. Like, it was so cute and magical, and the music and the cues of the music and everything. I'm like, oh, this is super nice. That was my absolute favorite part of the game, for sure.
I liked that also in this segment you play hide and seek.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
With the bunny right before. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like the animations of the. I mean, there's very few animated things in this game. Like I said, it is kind of living booky to me, but the choreographed dance, as you say, I thought that was so cutely animated with the tumbling of the cat and the bunny. I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
This is how I felt about Milo and the Magpies. Is this guy's really good at animating a cat?
Yeah.
Like besides when the cat is on two legs doing like a waltz. Besides that.
Well, my cat does that all the time. So
okay. I guess I haven't had a cat in a little while, so
Basket is a very good waltzer.
But besides that, like the cat is really like a kind of natural looking at all times.
It is, yeah.
So okay, man takes the cat. And you're like, were you guys like, oh, he's returning the cat? Or were you guys like...
You mean the bunny?
The bunny, sorry, yeah. Are you guys like, this motherfucker kidnapped our bunny?
No, I was pissed. I'm like, I think we just lost.
Game over.
Game over.
You gotta go back and see, maybe you forgot to pick up the pie.
You put the wrong combination. Like, you could have, there's multiple... solutions, and the least correct or the lesser correct one is going to give you the bad ending.
Bad ending is man kidnaps the bunny, cat has to return home, girl cries for 5 solid minutes, and then the game's over.
Yeah, I guess at that point, I didn't even really notice that happened, because like everything kind of was inexplicably happening, that I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take this into stride. We'll just follow this wherever this goes next.
Yeah.
And the cat doesn't realize it. Milo doesn't realize it happened. So Milo keeps on looking.
Yeah, he keeps looking. Yeah.
And that's when you end up at... This is a strange thing. You end up at this was a location in the previous game. And so you end up at this frozen river. It wasn't frozen in the previous game, but where people are ice skating.
I didn't even know it was a river. I thought it was like a street.
Yeah,
wow, I'm a dumb. There's literally a fish and like a thing. Oh my god.
There's ducks swimming in it. Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
There's
sick.
A bridge over it.
Yeah, there's a bridge.
To you, this game was like way more trippy and psychedelic than it was to us.
I had a great time. I don't know what you guys played.
In terms of the logic that's in the game, I could totally see you taking that in stride too. Where, oh yeah, there's ducks swimming in the road. That's
right.
What I was thinking. I don't know where my brain was at. In brain fog.
Well, so there is something weird though here that I maybe is a thing in certain other countries. I don't know. There's a soup stand that is facing the river. Right? Like there's a kitchen with a table and like an awning and a sign, and this girl is selling like vegetable soup to people who are skating by. Yeah. You guys ever seen anything like that in life?
I have never seen a soup stand ever. I live in Chicago, so that's it could be. I assume it's like a holiday pop-up. Like, all right, the river's frozen, get the soup stand pop-up out. Soup. Yeah.
And your customer base obviously sucks, because at some point you drop snow into the man's soup and he just chucks the soup just down on the ground and skates away, cup and all.
They have some real bad Yelp reviews on this poor little indie soup stand.
This is another illogical logic puzzle, right?
Yeah,
because
I was so excited that I solved this one with the dials and everything. I was beside myself with joy. Yeah.
Yeah. it's well, by that point, our brains have sort of adjusted to it,
Yeah.
right? And you're just kind of like, okay, what it doesn't make sense, but what clues could be lurking anywhere?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Apparently, it
And
got worse for me because I didn't even know I was on a river. So I just progressively got worse at this game.
yeah, this game rotted your brain little by little. Yeah, it's just like the price of the soup corresponds with the temperature you set that
Mhm.
doesn't make sense unless this is an economy where it's like every degree that I turn up my cookware costs me 1 penny. So if you want soup that is cooked at 250 degrees, you are going to need to pay me $2.50.
I mean, that also, like, even though that's an illogical logic puzzle, it at least, like, I knew to look for numbers, and there's only so
Yeah.
many numbers, you know?
Yeah, there's 3
Mhm.
numbers, and there's 3 numbers you need to find. Done.
Yeah.
So I just want to say I had a visceral reaction. Again, I don't know.
Oh,
This got
no.
progressively worse for me. I don't know
no.
why. But on the last screen, that's where everyone's reunited.
Mm.
This woman, like, okay, so you as Milo, you prod him to hide in a box, and he's hiding in this box of Christmas hats. And a woman finds him and brings
It's a
him
box
back.
of Christmas hats?
Yeah, that's why he's wearing a Christmas hat.
Okay,
Yeah.
that I didn't collect that.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Matt.
Oh god, I'm the dumb one. You're right.
Brain rot. So this woman brings back the box. Like, she doesn't take the cat out. She just brings the
Yeah.
whole box of somebody's Christmas hats. And she puts it down and she says, I found your rabbit. Did she not look in the box? I'm so
Okay, look.
confused.
Okay, so Milo's got the hat on, so you can't see his ears. And if you see an animal,
I don't know. I was just like,
And
girl.
the only way you can tell the difference between people, this is something science has been grappling with for centuries, is that the only way you can tell the difference between a cat and a bunny is its ear. It's the length of its ears. And so, in situations where you can't see the ears,
Yeah.
science just cannot figure it out.
Additionally, she's been primed to know, I'm sure, that a rabbit is missing, not that Milo is missing. So she saw something furry in the box. She didn't think twice about it. No plot hole here.
Though
I was just so mad.
I've spent 2 games. I've spent 2 games with this cat. I think people are pretty used to Milo going missing. I think everybody in this town knows what it's like to find Milo in a box of hats.
Maybe this time, new bunny's gone missing. Oh, is Milo missing too? No, not this time.
No.
Priority is the new thing.
Oh, no, you can find Milo in the box of hats. No, this is... everybody knows it.
Did you guys think it was like a little bit of a cop-out that this is a game, by the way, guys. This is an actual game. We're clicking around, and the object is to find this bunny and bring it back to the little girl. But we don't ever find the bunny. Somebody else off screen finds the bunny. I was so mad. This is
we
the
find
only
the
puzzle
cat.
we need to do. Yeah, we find the cat.
We find the cat who isn't, or who rather we drove to being lost. We
But
made
that's
the cat be
only thing
lost.
we need to do is find the bunny. And this game wouldn't humor me and let me find the bunny.
Yeah.
Did you feel unsatisfied by the ending then?
I did. Yeah.
I was fine with the ending. It felt cozy, Christmassy. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, we didn't achieve anything.
Yeah, and for what it is, it's good.
The theme of, everyone kind of coming together for the holidays, I feel like maybe you could kind of think about it that way, where sometimes you have problems and then, your friends and family can help you with your problems. And I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think that's probably on some level what they were going for, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole town is on this little girl's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, including the woman with the box of hats who can't tell the difference between a cat and a rabbit. She did her best too.
Ugh.
Look,
So
in a town like this, everybody needs to stick together because none of them are particularly competent.
well, the world's
Little
also
girl-
chaotic. Okay, I can't blame the people for not being competent if their world makes no logical sense. So they
That's
do
true.
know each other.
Little girl loses her rabbit out of her own front door the moment after she gets it. Woman doesn't know the difference between a rabbit and a cat. Man sets the lock on his shed by how many candles he can see at that moment.
What happens if like his wife comes home with a new candle? Does he have to reset this lock every
He
single
can never
time?
get into the shed again.
Oh my god.
He can never, for the rest of his life, is able to get in the shed. Did you guys
World
see?
is hell.
There was a cute thing on the river scene in the art that I don't know if you guys picked up on. Did you guys see all the cats in the background?
No.
In the river scene?
Yeah, scattered throughout the tree branches
Really? I did not know. I
are
didn't
just a
clock
bunch
that.
of really cute silhouettes of cats.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Makes me wonder if there's more like that I didn't clock. But
Yeah, I think overall, the idea of coming out with kind of like a free holiday game is something they kind of used to do back in the day, like with DOS games and everything. They'd have, like,
Yeah.
and I think it's a really sweet little gift for people. And I really have a lot of warm feeling toward the developer for that reason,
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It almost made me, when the first bit of the game, the very first chapter, you're not solving puzzles really. You're just clicking on the cat and the bunny back and forth and
Yeah.
watching them do stuff. And at that point, I started feeling like it was like one of those old Sierra Christmas cards where
Yeah.
it's basically just almost like this, just like interactive little Christmas card.
Yeah, it's real sweet.
Yeah, and like I joke, I'm like, oh, I found this unsatisfying at the end, which I did. I did find it unsatisfying, but at the same time, it's not. That's not the purpose of this game. The purpose of this game is the experience itself, and feeling warm and cozy, and just having a nice thing to look at and click around.
Yeah. So that's Milo and the Christmas gift. You guys could all go just get it on Steam for free.
It's a gift. It's a Christmas gift.
It's a Christmas gift for you. So before we get out of here, Julia, here's the thing we're talking to all our guests about today, because it's a thing that's very near to me and Rose's hearts.
Oh God! Why? Oh no! I haven't been prepped on this. Okay, go on.
Can I have $700? No,
Matt, that's not what we talked about.
it is. It is. It is. How do you feel about eggnog? Are you an eggnog person?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's real sweet.
It's
I
very
find
sweet, yeah.
it's too sweet for me, but I'll have like a little bit, like a sip of it is nice. I find, but I could never drink like a whole thing of it, like a whole serving size.
Sure.
But yeah, how do y'all feel about the eggnogs?
My son used to say it was like a liquid cookie, which I think is true. Big fan. I'm a big fan of eggnog. Alcohol, no alcohol, usually no alcohol, but either one, love it. I'm right now enjoying, as we speak, a original brand Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog made with real dairy cream, rum, brandy, and blended whiskey. I had just a tiny little dram.
I like the flavor a lot of eggnog and the
I do
rum in it
too.
and stuff. It's very nice.
Yeah, are you a bigger fan of alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Probably the non-alcoholic, because I can't really drink all that much alcohol.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, just like a little bit of rum in there is real nice. I gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely prefer non-alcoholic. Because I know it's like so intensely sweet. I also cannot have a lot of it, but I'm like wild about it. I need to have it. There's something very nostalgic about it. For me, we always had eggnog at Christmas, and like alcohol, I don't know, if you like less sweet eggnog, then you should put alcohol in it. But yeah, it gives it a weird flavor to me.
Do you guys sprinkle nutmeg on the nog?
Yeah, I do.
Cinnamon, nutmeg, something maybe. Yeah.
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 I every year I'm always looking to try new nogs. Do you guys have a favorite brand?
Matt, you weirdo. Nobody has a favorite brand of eggnog.
They have
Well,
I
like
think
one
most guys-
brand that comes out, and then we just get that one.
What's the brand?
It's a Beatrice. They make like other milk and stuff,
Beatrice.
and that's all we get. It's just like the one thing we get in the grocery store at that time of year. And
you know what Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's all. That's all I got.
Okay. I was gonna say you reminded just at like talking about brands of eggnog. I can't name one I like the best, but I can name one I don't like. Is that
Go ahead.
acceptable?
Yeah,
It's
do
even
it.
better.
It's even better.
I'll name my worst nog of all time after you.
Okay, it's actually Dean's eggnog, and Dean's is a pretty big brand.
I've never had Dean's. Yeah,
What
it's
makes
on
it
my...
bad?
Yeah.
It's a little watery to me.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I just eggnog is meant to be a little more luscious and kind of decadent, and yeah, and Dean's is like a milk brand, so I don't know, maybe it's me, I don't know, but I not a big fan of Dean's.
So Wawa has an incredible nog. If you guys are ever in the Northeast, I guess it's all the whole East Coast now, right? Has Wawas.
Yeah.
Check out Wawa nog. Now, the worst nog I've ever had is Bolt House Farms. Do you guys know Bolt House Farms?
Oh yeah, they make the vegetable juices and stuff.
Yeah, which generally pretty good.
Mhm.
They have a thing called Holiday Nog. I described it last year. I have it written down here. Worst nog I've ever had. It's like water poured into pumpkin spice flavored milk.
Ew.
It's horrible. It has the consistency of, and I'm sorry to anybody at home enjoying a nice nog right now, and they're gonna have to take a little break after I say this. But it's the consistency of mucus.
Ew.
It's horrible.
I hate it. I hate that.
Do you have it? So okay, and then before we let you go here, Julia, and thanks you so much for joining us and talking about this cool
Yeah.
game. What sort of, do you have any holiday traditions that are super important to you that you want to share with people?
Yeah, well, there's a tradition of baking holiday cookies, which it's not unique or anything, but my mom makes the same cookies every year, the same kinds of cookies every year. And
Uh-huh.
one of them is a thumbprint cookie, and there are thumbprint cookies in the Crimson Diamond. And
There are the jam.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
there are! And that's a great puzzle too.
Yeah, so that's why that's there. That's why I have those there, because every year for the, as long as I've been alive, she's baked them, and I love having them, and they're so holiday season for me. So that's one thing. And then I've been taking it upon myself to make the gingerbread cookie recipe. That's also from like an old vintage, 1970s cookbook that my mom has had. And
Nice.
yeah, it's my absolute favorite cookie, and I make those every year now. So those are my nice holiday traditions.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's
Those
so
are
good.
really
Man,
nice
I
ones.
gave
I
that
can't believe it was a
Poirot
Crimson
character
Diamond.
so many thumbprint cookies, Julia. Because
Yeah,
I was like,
oh.
I got a little stuck, and I just
Yes.
I thought I could like make him sick or something.
I was going to do that actually. I was
Oh,
going
you
to do
were?
I was going to do a Mr. Creosote death where he would explode, but I
Is there an achievement for giving him enough bunch of cookies?
no. I
No,
should've
trust me, I would have
missed
had it if
opportunity.
there was.
Yeah. Oh. Missed opportunity.
Well, do you guys, Roses? Do you
Oh.
hear that?
Yeah, why are you banging on your
There's a
desk,
knock.
Matt?
There's a knock at our Christmas cabin door.
Oh,
So I think another guest is trying to come in. Julia, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to say, Merry Christmas to you, and
Merry
happy
Christmas.
every other holiday that happens around this time. There's a bunch of them,
There are.
and thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. This was lovely.
Yes.
Milo was wonderful. And yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and Roses. This is great times.
Aw, thank you so
thank
much,
you so
Julia.
much.
I guess
We
I'll
will-
go answer the door.
All right, we'll be right back.
Wow, look at that. It's our good friend Alistair Becket King. Alistair, why are you out there in the freezing cold?
Oh, it's so cold out here, Roses and Matt. Oh, why are you making me stand on your doorstep in the cold, outside this real door?
I mean, we are in Chicago, where it's very cold all the time.
And we're in the west of Philadelphia, where it's very cold.
Very
Oh,
cold
very,
all
very
the time.
cold. I'm in London, which is also very cold.
Damn.
Can I come in?
Sure. Come on in. Have a
Hold on.
squat
We
around
gotta
the fireplace.
let's wait for Julia to jump out the window. Okay, she's gone. Now you can come in.
She
Yeah.
could have used the door. Oh, well, that's fine.
She didn't want to see
No,
Alistair.
I
She's
am in the doorway.
This is an adventure game. You need to move. We need to move you out of the doorway.
Yeah, it's like a character standing there like, how can I open the door when there's a person standing in it? How can one person leave the door when another person's in it?
Matt, if you could just offer him cider from your chair, you could lure him away from the door.
Okay. Sit, chair, offer cider. Alistair, would you like some nice Christmas cider?
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, is that non-alcoholic in America, cider?
Cider
when I
is
drink it.
generally non-alcoholic in
Okay.
America. Yeah. Well, if you're talking
just
about like
a little warning about England, then, because cider in England is an alcoholic drink.
generally, yeah.
Oh.
If you're talking about like a wintry drink, in the U.S., you're talking about like a warm apple cider that
Yeah.
is non-alcoholic.
That
But if you're at a
explains why they're taking kids around the cider factory in The Simpsons, which wouldn't be appropriate in the UK, because
No.
again, it's an alcoholic drink made from apples.
I also have a wassail bowl here if you want some of that. I've just been
Oh,
pouring
you don't want that.
every
We've been
liquid in the
wassailing,
house
and
into it.
No, you don't want the wassail.
Have you been wassailing? Is there singing? Is singing going to happen? I wasn't warned
Listen.
about singing.
The wassail pot is community pot, and everyone's drank out of it, and this is why we're all sick.
If you want
okay?
to pour anything into the wassail bowl, if you
Sounds
want
really
to,
unsanitary.
if you have any, if
I'm
you have
just
any
gonna
liquids on
fling
you,
a
you can.
few crisps or chips and cheesy puffs
Ew.
in there. Just create a sort of floating layer.
There you go. There you go. We forgot to have Julia add anything to the wassail bowl, but I think she spit in it anyway because she was mad we didn't offer her any.
So gross. Well, anyway,
That's actually how she always leaves a room. She spits,
she
and then she goes straight out the window. She's really nice, but she makes an exit.
We've built such a rich tapestry of holiday fiction here. Alistair, how have you been, my friend?
Very well. It's lovely being here in your sort of soundstage built house with all fake snow and studio quality lighting.
Trans-dimensional Christmas house.
I've put my artwork everywhere. That's why it looks like a Christmas horror show. I
Very
like to
nice.
make my guests comfy.
How is your Christmas season so far?
It's not too bad. I've had a quiet Christmas. I haven't done that many gigs because I'm a stand-up comedian, and normally Christmas gigs are awful. Normally you gig to people who are having Christmas parties, and they're just the worst audiences because they all know each other, and they're all like, "Oh, you should say something about bald Jeff. That'd be hilarious." But it wouldn't be because we don't know Jeff or care about him. The rest of the room isn't invested in Jeff's baldness really at all.
Well, I'm pretty invested now.
Well, you
now
are. Yeah,
I'm
but
curious.
I've built a picture of him. I've drawn a portrait of him using my words. And that's drawn you in.
God, I fucking hate Jeff's baldness. I'm pretty mad at Jeff at this point. Grow some hair,
Jeff
dude.
weren't bad enough. His baldness is what really gets my goat.
And we're three people with beautiful hair in this trans-dimensional cabin.
Yeah.
So
Mine is bleached to fucking back. I don't know, Alistair, what did you think of my hair when I was in cabin?
It was light. I was surprised that it was light because I think the last video I'd seen it was dark. So how recently?
Alistair, that was like years ago.
No way. Well, okay, you don't always show your face in the recent ones that I definitely watch about Jessica Fletcher. I did. I watched Hot Frosty after you told me about it. You described the plot of Hot Frosty to me, and then I went and watched it on YouTube, and it was the same as you telling me.
Yeah,
about
it was the same as what I said. You basically
it was the same as what you
did
said.
not have to watch it.
But now
Don't you
get ad
follow me on
revenue.
Instagram? You could see my face on Instagram.
this is so funny because what it is it's like a real holiday gathering where your family starts bickering.
I can't believe this. Ugh.
We're so happy that you've joined us here, and we all together in one big comfy chair sat and played a game called Watchover Christmas.
Yes.
This is your fault, Matt.
How do you guys all, just high level, how do you
Huh.
feel about Watchover Christmas?
Anxious. It makes
Yeah.
me feel very anxious because I instantly took a dislike to this game, but
Yeah.
also I made a sort of cartoonish point-and-click adventure game years ago, and the way I react to this is the way
Oh,
people
no.
who don't like my game react to my game, going like, "Oh, it's like cartoony and it's for kids and it's supposed to be funny, but it's not." Brackets, my game actually is funny, but
Your game is
I-
funny, yes.
I feel bad. Yeah, I feel too bad criticizing it. That said, I have got a Word document open with a lot of criticism.
Listen, I need to say something.
You're allowed.
Thank you. I was waiting for permission there because usually people would be like, "No,
No,
shut
don't
up,
say
Roses."
anything. It's Christmas.
Okay, I went into this game disliking it, and then
Mm.
I was like, I kind of like it though because it's got that grand adventure. I think I was really into the world that was illustrated in
Okay.
front of me. I liked that part of it. I liked that there were different cultures that were coming into it, and then I disliked it again for reasons. But at the end, I was at peace with it. I'm like, okay,
That's-
that's a good game.
At the end, no emotions at all.
Just
so
none,
perfectly
yeah.
neutral.
This
Yeah,
is
neutral.
how I felt. No, you are describing my experience exactly because I started this game so angry because, and I think it's literally, there's two things I think that really bugged me, like right off the bat. One is Siska's voice. Oh my God.
It's bad. Yeah,
It
it's
is
bad.
just,
How can you just so Cisco is a 12 or 13, it seems to vary,
12.
year old boy, but he also says that 42 is three times his age or something.
I
Anyway,
know. I did that
which
math
mathematically
too.
means you're not 12. But anyway, but also
I only
he's
read
got
about half his
puffy,
dialogue.
he's got puffy orange hair, and he's called Cisco, which is short for Francisco. And I think that is probably, I don't want to generalize, but I don't think there are any other redheaded people called Francisco. It's not a name and a hair color that tend to go together. So he's a
Yeah.
unique kid with the most annoying way of pronouncing the word Christmas I've ever heard. Christmas.
Charisma.
Christmas.
This
He
is
also talks.
Luckily, he says it in every sentence.
Thank God. Thank God
He-
for that. He
he's-
talks like a 40-year-old man sometimes too. Like just
Yeah.
his wordage. I'm just like, is this a
Yeah.
12-year-old or what is this
Well, he's-
dialogue?
he's
I-
got
I-
that. He's got that like grown person doing a kid's voice, right? It's like
Yeah, it's
this
not-
at all times.
Ah,
Like a kid
stop,
from an
trauma.
advert.
Yeah.
And you can tolerate that kind of acting for the length of an advert. I don't think the voice actor is bad, but it's really misjudged because he's so enthusiastic.
Mhm.
So
I
think
also
two
just
things
don't. I don't think that's what 12-year-olds sound like. 12 is like a very specific age
Mhm.
where kids do feel more adult. They don't
Yes, they
typically
start
carry
to be
around a teddy
cynical
bear.
and sarcastic.
Yeah, they're
yes,
like-
he's written like a much younger child.
I thought he was 8. I
And
thought it was 8 until I found out he was 12.
I'll say that he is cynical and sarcastic, but he still speaks in that way. He's like he'll say something sarcastic, right? Like, "Oh, that was very helpful," and it's like, I guess that's sarcastic, but you're also saying it like you're very excited to be sarcastic.
Yeah.
And there's talking about the way he's written like a 40-year-old guy.
Hmm.
Like there's a bit where he makes a reference to the Dukes of Hazzard, which is a show
my
a
God,
40-year-old guy, have not seen
Yeah.
because it was on telly before I was aware of things. So it's like, well, so how does a 12-year-old? It's okay. I guess that's the writer talking directly through the child to the player. but
Wait.
It's
Is
all
this
that.
game set in the 90s?
I don't know.
Because you know how so guys, in this game you can collect presents. I don't know if I collected all of them, and I don't know really what
Oh, I
purpose
did.
to
I was
solve.
so worried
you
I
did?
wouldn't, and I
Oh.
did.
So,
You
but
do
did
get
you
an
notice
achievement, yeah.
You get an achievement. So it's a little collectathon. It's a little hidden object. You got to find all the gifts. A lot of games have that mechanic. The gifts are strange. Like the first gift I opened was a 90s Game Boy.
Oh,
Wait, how do you
right.
open the gifts?
You just double click on him. Matt,
Wait, no, I clicked on the gifts and they just disappeared. And it was like gift found.
No, mine opened. And I found a Game Boy and I found like a couple consoles and like
What?
No, this sounds like a dream. Once I dreamed that I got outside the court in Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo and just kept driving.
And to this day, you're still out there.
I'm still out there somewhere.
still on Rainbow Road somewhere.
Now, okay, so when you would find them on the screen, you would click them while on the screen.
They're in your
and they would open.
inventory. No, in your inventory. In your gift inventory.
There's a gift inventory?
Matt!
All right, here's him loading up Watchover Christmas while you guys talk about Watchover Christmas.
Like, look at a playthrough and you'll see what I mean.
Okay,
I'm gonna find one too, because now I feel like I'm losing my mind.
I now I believe you. Now that
Okay.
you've told me there's a gift inventory.
Like, I'm not making up seeing like a Game Boy and like
Yeah.
there's like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man plushie. Like, there were all these weird gifts that don't apply to a Gen Z child, I don't think.
So, Alistair, you're right about the Dukes of Hazzard. That one really threw me because there was a lot of weird references in this game, but that one was like. I had to like sit and I was like, there's no way he's talking about the Dukes of Hazzard right now. And it was like completely I couldn't even make it make sense in context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't be like, oh yeah, it makes sense to reference the Dukes of Hazzard right now.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to just really, really quick, what is the premise? What is the objective of
Sure.
this game?
Okay. So you're a little boy named Cisco, as we said, and you are visited by the Christmas spirit one night. I guess it's Christmas Eve, right? You're visited by the Christmas spirit and it inhabits your no, you have to do that later. Sorry, I'm mixing it up.
Matt, the story is not this hard.
This is going bad. This is going poorly. Oh my God.
It's a bit like Nightmare Before Christmas because there's a realm of Santa and other Santa-like creatures like Krampus and La Befana. Is that right?
La Befana, who's an Italian.
Befana
Italian folklore.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, what happened was Krampus kidnapped Santa Claus, and you, Cisco, have been tasked with rescuing him.
Yeah, I don't know why. As we go through this game, there appears to be a lot more experienced people that could maybe do this. But apparently we learn like way at the end that only a child can save Christmas because in adults, the Christmas spirit is weak. So only a child can save Santa.
But it needs to be a kid who knows about the Dukes of Hazzard and quite a lot of 80s, 90s stuff as well.
Who likes Game Boys and Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. Yeah.
I sort of think everybody thinks that kids are easy to write, like kids' stories are easy to write because kids are like, they love Christmas. And it's like, well, what's Francisco's personality? Who is he? What's his thing? And his thing is he's a kid who likes Christmas, which is everyone. And he's got an older teenage sister and she's cynical and likes bands. It's like, okay, so these are the most generic children you could come up with. And Francisco's outlook on life is to be like enthusiastic about things. And it's like, there's no acting to do. There's no personality there. And I kind of think with this kind of point and click game, your enjoyment of it completely hangs on whether you like hanging around with the main character, because this kind of classic point and click. You're not really driving the story forwards. You're running a lot of errands for people.
Oh yeah,
there's
so
lots
many
of side tracks that don't really feel like they're necessary. But if you enjoy hanging out with the main character, that's all fine. But if they're annoying, you're in big trouble.
That's what I struggled with though, because like I did find this character very annoying, but there are so many things, and I think that's because it's very clearly derived from other classic adventure games, and I say that knowing this because they put in references to other games. Like you can find Manny Calavera's head, like an illustration of his head. You can find an illustration of Murray's head from Curse of Monkey Island. So there are parts of this game that take me into that nostalgic zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I would like the illustrative style, but I actually do like it. I like it except for one thing. I don't like how the humans look. I only like the character design in the places that you go. So in the enchanted forests and in the villages and stuff, because they have cute eyes. And in the real world, they don't have cute eyes. And that's my hot take. Thank you for having me.
I should say there's a second artist because at the end of the game, there are some real shifts in the style of the background art because there's a different artist doing them. And I think George Komiotis, who did the animation for the characters and the backgrounds, did the backgrounds at the end of the game.
Okay.
And because there's some, I think, really, really good artwork toward the end of the game.
Yeah, that's so I see it now that you're talking about it. One art style, it, again, has a very thick outline, I guess cartoony, and then there's another style that's more illustrative and more like
It feels a lot more
painterly.
Bill Tillerish, where you don't have outlines, and it's there's some very nicely drawn snow and some really sweet locations. So it's kind of a pity that some of the prettier stuff is buried late in the game.
Before we were doing this podcast, I'd started this game two separate Christmases. Like, I want a Christmas game. I'm going to try this. And I got maybe just to the first village, like away from Sisko's house, and never picked it up again. And then like a year later, I was like, okay, I'm going to play that Christmas game that I played last year. And same thing, got about there, and then it just got overwhelmed. But as I was playing it this time, I kind of fought my way through because I knew we had to talk about it on the show.
God.
By like the fifth chapter, I felt like the game started moving. Like, I felt better about it.
Okay, but the game shouldn't start moving at the fifth chapter.
I know. No, I'm not recommending it based on that. But
guys, there's 6 chapters.
It is way longer than you think it's going to be. Like, I assumed when I started, I was like, oh, this is sort of the sort of game you can knock out in 2 hours. But no, this is like a 6 to 8 hour game.
Yeah.
And most of that is Sisko saying Christmas.
Well, I did notice in playing how dialogue heavy it really is.
There's a lot.
I think that accounts for a lot of the time.
I have to be honest. I watched a playthrough rather than actually playing it, so I cheated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even the playthrough I watched, by the end, they were skipping through the dialogue, and it's like, you've been here for 6 hours now. Stop! Come on!
That's so funny.
Show yourself some respect, and don't just skip through the dialogue in the dramatic finale. I was talking to some people because I write a series of kids' books, and there is an issue with sort of kids writing, which is that you write yourself as a child.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily relevant to kids now. Like someone pointed out, when people our age write grandparents, we're writing them so old, but like children's grandparents are actually not that old.
Not that old, yeah.
They're like 55 in some cases, and we're writing these withered old terrible pensioners with the, and it's like, well, that's our obviously my grandparents are dead.
Yeah,
sorry to ruin Christmas, but we
ruin the holidays.
It's hard to sort of inhabit a child, and so I don't want to criticize the game too harshly for failing to capture a child. I just don't think that Sisko has a personality, really.
He does
beyond being enthusiastic, and I think that's what's missing. And it doesn't seem to be told from a child's point of view. Really, it seems to be aimed at for instance, really early on in the game, his older sister tells him Santa Claus doesn't exist, and it's like, okay, so this game is not for any kids who are so young that you wouldn't want to include that in the game. But kind of who is it for? Because who older than a child could put up with this constant Christmas enthusiasm?
So
I mean, I thought I could. I love Christmas. I love adventure games. And I was just like, ugh. But like, again, like what Matt said, I had kind of a journey of liking it, like disliking it, and then liking it again. I don't know.
The credits say that the game is for the people who never lost the child inside them or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Like the people whose the spirit of Christmas and wonder of being a child stayed with them forever, something along those lines. So I think that's who they think it's for. It's for adults who feel childlike. But I
think it's for people our age, just with the LucasArts references in there. And
well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people that make adventure games. Unfortunately, especially a lot of these people who make point and click games using AGS, right? Like there's so many who are just fans of adventure games, and they have been their whole life, and they just want to make one, but they're not really
Yeah.
thinking about audience. They're just thinking about, I want to make an adventure game.
Sure.
And maybe what settings I've missed, what settings I haven't seen before, or or I want another game like Luke, something
Yeah.
like that.
Which I respect. The devs made a game that they clearly wanted to make.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's long. It's 6 to 8 hours long. There's a lot of settings. Honestly, I dare say it's got better structure and better, I don't know, overall quality than a lot of adventure games I've played. It's
How
just...
are the puzzles? Because watching it in a playthrough, I cheated. Because there's quite a few full screen puzzles, which is the one thing that differentiated it from a classic LucasArts game for me. And I thought, is there an element of sort of casual or the room kind of gaming here? You're making noises.
This game does what like a lot of adventure games do, where it has that classic errand type of a thing where you need to use inventory objects, and you actually have a pretty big inventory. This would be pretty good for how much do my pants weigh. I found that I was carrying a lot of stuff. But like a lot of adventure games, every now and then we get a slider puzzle or like a pipe puzzle where you need to change where the water goes. And those, as everybody knows, I hate those. They're not my favorite at all.
So yeah, I think it is. There's a lot of the inventory puzzles that feel more like fetch quests than actual puzzles. It is like somebody wants you to go somewhere and get something and then come back. And I think there's a lot of the puzzles that, and some puzzles are just solved through dialogue, right? You approach a challenge and you're like, okay, they're going to make me go do something.
You can annoy
to
somebody
solve this
into submission.
Yeah, and there's a lot of situations where you just talk to them and keep talking to them, and then they say, all right, fine, here's the thing you've needed this whole time. So none of the puzzles are hard.
Yeah, they're not hard. They make sense too. Like I think they are pretty logical, to be honest.
That's a mercy.
I think so. I think so too. I got a little stuck when I first got to the village. I forget what the actual puzzle was, but there's something early on in the village I got stuck by. But most of the game, so I could sort of breeze past without walkthroughs or much thought. But yeah, you're right, Alistair. There are a lot of like full-on logic puzzles. And a lot of the cliche ones, right? Like there's a puzzle where you have to put the cogs in the right place to make the thing move.
The clock tower, yeah.
So there's one point where you have to craft a symbol out of like a penta. What do you call those? Those where you have a bunch of shapes and you have to put them together to make
I have
other shapes.
No idea I'm sure that does have a name, and I don't know what it is.
I keep wanting to say pentagram, but that's
it's
a very
not
specific
a pentagram. That is a specific like shape, yeah.
So I think the puzzles are okay. I think again, what you said, Alistair, if you like the main character, I think this game there's a lot to like here. There's also a lot of oil in this game. Sorry, I was about to say you give a guy diarrhea, but there's a lot of oil. You get early on in the game, there's baby oil. And they make a sex joke about it. He asks his dad, "Why is there baby oil in the bathroom?" And the dad's like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
Even though that is where you would keep baby oil, isn't it? In
exactly.
The cabinet. So it's not like it doesn't imply extra sexiness that it's in the bathroom. That's the place it's kept.
Yeah, that's where you should keep it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Where are you going to keep it? Under the kitchen sink with the bleach?
Based on the dad's reaction, it was very much like, and it's like, no, there's just baby oil in the bathroom. That's what. But yeah, there's baby oil. You have to make fish oil. You have to acquire cooking oil. You get castor oil. Every type of oil is in this game. What's going on?
Sorry, the spirit of Christmas is. Don't you know anything about Christmas, Matt? It's a time for oils of all kinds.
It's time for oil.
All right, I'll go pour a bunch of oils in the wassail bowl.
Deck the hall with several oils.
There's a joke that I actually thought was pretty funny, which is at some point you go into like a dungeon, and there's a guy doing that old playing with that toy where you're trying to catch a ball on the end of a stick that's like tied to it with a rope.
He calls it a skill toy. Again, he
skill
talks like
toy.
a fucking 40-year-old. Oh, it's a nice
Oh, yeah.
skill toy you
Hey,
have.
I like your skill toy. And the guy says, this isn't a skill toy, this is a weapon.
This is my weapon.
It's just like, yeah, it's like a little I don't know, like hammer with a little red ball hanging off of it.
Yeah.
But then later you get captured by guards, and one of them hits you with one of those things. Like, just has one. And I was like, that is a pretty good joke.
Dude, it's got whimsy to it for sure. It's got a charm that it just kind of comes and goes. The charm comes and goes, which is a little strange to say. But yeah, it does.
There's another point in this game where this was the weirdest part of the game to me, where you have to get elf tears.
Yeah.
For some magical recipe, right?
Yep.
And you find pepper spray. It's right after you give the guard playing with the toy diarrhea, by forcing him to drink castor oil. And then later you tie a rope to his leg and have a goat run away.
This
Also
poor
tied
guy,
to
though.
Yeah, you're destroying this man. So you have pepper spray, and you have to get elf tears, and you're walking around 2 elf villages. And I just like, this can't be it, right? And I was just walking up to every elf using pepper spray on elf.
Oh my god!
You weren't allowed. At no point were you allowed. The solution to the puzzle is you find one elf that's sick, and you find a handkerchief. You put the pepper spray on the handkerchief, and you give it to the elf.
Wait,
And
you
they
still
give
pepper?
that
You do
to
pepper
back.
spray?
So
the
you
elf
do
then,
pepper.
after
Yeah,
all
you do
that.
pepper spray an elf. He walks around. Cisco walks around saying, like, I couldn't do that. To pepper spraying
Without
elves.
a handkerchief.
Yeah, and then instead he makes somebody huff pepper spray.
I guess what he meant was some of the spray might get into the tears if you sprayed it directly onto their face,
Yeah.
spoiling the recipe. So you just need them to get the fumes.
If he had said that, I would have solved the puzzle. That was what I had to look at the walkthrough for. Like,
Wow.
if he had said, and that would have also been hilarious and revealing about Cisco's character. If he had
Now we're
said,
getting into Cisco's real character.
he's a absolute sadist. There's something also about this game that reminded me. I don't know if you guys got this. I got a real Toonstruck vibe at certain points.
I did too. Absolutely. I was thinking that as well. Especially with the aforementioned guards that I mentioned. Yeah, definitely got Toonstruck vibes.
As soon as I saw Krampus's lair, it reminded me of I can't remember. Is it
I can't remember the guy's name.
Nefarious?
Nefarious?
Yeah.
Nefarious?
Yes.
From
Yeah. Tim
Toonstruck?
Curry's character. Yeah.
Yes, with the sort of checkerboard, chessboard flooring.
Yeah.
That seems
I
to
did
be
too.
the visual influence for that location, I think.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
you're
for
right.
sure.
It would have been Watchover Christmas would have been a much better game if it was Christopher Lloyd, the motion
Would
capture,
it though?
walking around these Christmas villages.
But as a 12-year-old boy,
He has the big
I
and red
love Christmas.
poofy hair.
Dad,
Hey,
explain the baby oil immediately.
Give me a go on that skill toy.
Okay, but I want to mention one of the very last lines in this game that like took me out of the whole thing.
Mhm.
It made me viscerally angry. So on one of the last lines, as we said, you have the Christmas spirit, which is inhabiting your teddy bear with you the whole time. He's in your inventory the whole time, but he can't stay forever. So, as soon as you complete the task of saving Santa and I think killing Krampus or at least imprisoning him.
I think
in a
you're
snow
imprisoning him.
Doesn't
As
I
kill
think
you
he's
to go
alive.
into a snow globe. He's
Yeah.
alive.
He's
But small.
if Coraline taught me
But small.
anything,
Yeah. He's alive, but very small. So at the end, the Christmas spirit's like, I gotta go. I don't want to. And he they say their goodbyes. And then he says, quote, life is an adventurous journey or nothing at all.
Yeah, that,
That's
I
what
assumed in Greek
What?
that sounded better and less depressing.
I'm just like, so you're either on a grand adventure or it's fucking nothing?
or you're dead, or you're a dead
Yeah.
person.
Like, there's no in between. What a weird way to end like a very whimsical, like, holiday game. So it's like life is an adventure or nothing.
Yeah, it's also like I've been spending 6 hours sitting at my computer playing a video game.
Yeah.
I guess life is
Yeah.
nothing at all for
Life
me.
is nothing.
Real zinger for us there. I guess
I'm
that's why
so
the person on the
mad.
playthrough I watched started clicking through it frantically. And they were like, "Better, must live, must finish." No commentary playthrough.
I'm so mad.
I like the way when you confront Krampus at the end, he's monologuing, and then Francisco says, "You talk too much," and he said, "You've got some nerve, boy." And I was like, "Good one, Krampus, because this kid talks a lot."
Yeah, that's so funny because that is one of those just like cliche lines that you don't
yeah.
even think about when you put in a villain's mouth. But yeah, that is exactly a great comeback to this specific boy.
Yeah, you really zinged this little 12-year-old with that one.
He's gonna sit the rest of that night and be like, I do talk too much, don't I?
Oh my god, I do talk too much.
Oh my god.
Do my parents love me? Yeah, it gets very dark at the end.
But in a way, it did inspire the spirit of Christmas. In a way, it did fill me with the spirit of Christmas, because every time he says Christmas, I said, "Oh, Jesus Christ," which is the true meaning of Christmas.
True meaning of the
So,
That is true. Wow.
Thank you, Cisco.
Yeah,
Wow.
Cisco believes to keep the Christ in Christmas.
He's annoying Jesus back into Christmas.
Yeah. So just a couple little notes that I wanted to, because it feels like we're wrapping up here.
Yes, we gotta wrap.
There are some my favorite puzzle of the game was there's a puzzle where you have to collect a bunch of roots and then go to like a science-y table.
I knew you would love that puzzle.
Like a botany table, and you
Knew
like
it.
have to discover the different traits of each root and then rule out which ones it is not. I liked that puzzle a lot. There's also a thing that I absolutely hate and I don't know, I think it's just a limitation of the engine, so I don't think there's anything people could do to solve it, but it's this thing that's where if you go to talk to a character and they haven't done their animation loop yet, you have to sit there and wait for their entire animation loop to pass by
Oh no.
before the dialogue starts. So there's certain ones where there's like a bartender that he'll like pick up a glass and he'll like grab a rag and he'll wash it and he'll look at the glass and he'll wash it again and he'll put it down. And if you talk to him at the wrong time, you have to sit and wait, not only for him to do that whole animation, but sometimes he's not ready. So you have to sit and have him like wait. He'll just like sit there for a few seconds, then pick up the glass. And you're like, oh my God.
Oh no.
Is it a Visionaire game? I think it's made in Visionaire. Is that right?
I don't know.
French or German? I think it is, because a
Nice.
lot of the high res sort of quite illustrated point and clicks of this age were Visionaire games, I think.
And then the very last thing, the game ends with so even if you're enjoying the game, like if you're like we're saying all the puzzles are pretty logical and it's fair, the game ends with two of the worst puzzles ever. One is you have to send smoke signals to you have to like decode something, which is kind of cool, but then if you get any of the smoke signals wrong, it takes like literally like 5 minutes to go through the sequence and have him say, "Oh, I guess I got it wrong," and then you try again.
Ugh.
That was awful. But then the absolute last puzzle of the game is just rock paper scissors.
Yep, it's
and
rock,
it is
paper, scissors.
totally up to chance.
Yeah.
You could be doing it for an hour. I think I did that for like 8 minutes. Like I was just like, because it's like, oh, I lost a round. All right, I'll try again. Up, I
just
won a
used
round.
scissors the whole time.
Oh yeah,
And it worked.
The ice pick or something.
The ice shard, yeah, I just kept using it.
Yeah, because because if it's got bad AI, it's just gonna cycle through, and you will win more often than you won't.
Yeah, and I won. I did it. I beat Krampus at rock, paper, scissors. Go me.
I was like looking for a pattern because I was like, it was taking me so long, and I was like, there's got to be some,
No.
and there's not. It's just
There's
completely
not.
random.
Yeah, there's just no pattern.
Well, so that's Watchover Christmas. What's everybody's rating out of Santa to Claus?
Is this imperial or metric?
I don't know. What do they use in Greece?
My rating is 1/2 full glass of milk.
Yeah.
What is the upper limit? Is that half of a glass out of
It's
one
like-
glass, or
it's
half
like
of a glass
middle.
out of
It's like-
5 glasses?
It's like average, half glass, average 5 out of 10.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
is probably a half empty glass of milk because
Oh.
I don't want to condemn it.
Right.
I see myself in the developers,
Aw,
but also
sweet.
really hate this kid.
Mine would be one of those Christmas. My rating is one of those Christmas crackers that has the little the bowling ball, the like little plastic bowling balls and bowling pins in it, because those are the most fun ones to get. So it's like it's still junk. It's still gonna go in the garbage, but it's like, oh, okay, that was all right.
That's fair.
So, Alistair, we've been talking to everybody today, or I guess you're only the second person we've talked to in this cabin. I don't know. We're recording these out of order. But
It's very hard to tell how many people have been in the cabin at this point from the debris.
yeah.
There's a broken window. I know that much.
There's a broken window.
There's a lot of weird shit in the wassail bowl.
yeah, stay clear.
How are you an eggnog fan, Alistair?
Well, I'm a vegan, and I've never had it. I looked it up when you mentioned it to me before we spoke, and I've got to say it looks disgusting. You're all just drinking raw eggs, are you? And condensed milk. Merry Christmas. I feel weird.
Weird.
You can't. So I have had vegan eggnog, and it's just like drinking a liquid sugar cookie.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
very sweet.
The vegan stuff is a little like, I would not recommend vegan.
You know, you need
eggnog.
the egg.
Yeah,
yeah.
Raw egg.
kind
is
of
the good
important.
bit.
Yeah,
Because it's just custard is all it is. It's just milky
very
custard.
viscous.
Ugh.
Yeah. So what are some of your Christmas? Are you a big Christmas fan?
Oh, I love Christmas. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope I didn't sound like a cynic.
No.
Lots of good Christmas traditions. My recent Christmas tradition is watching one of the Thin Man films, which are film noir comedy, screwball comedies from the 30s. There's about 9 of them, and the first one is set on Christmas Eve, and the second one is set on New Year. The next a couple of days later on New Year's Eve, and that's as far as I'm up to
Nice.
in those films. So I'm working my way through the series Christmas by Christmas,
Nice.
and they're
Do you
very
have-
very funny.
Do you have any Christmas foods or desserts that really are special since eggnog is off the table?
Eggnog's a vegan Christmas is not that hearty. It's hard to. Sometimes I make a
Yeah.
vegan haggis, which is just grains
Ah,
and spices. Again,
no.
the key element is missing in all of these things.
Yeah.
What else? I've done vegan mince pies before, but which are, I don't know if you know. So mincemeat is like a sweet kind of preserve.
It's like raisins, right?
So
Yeah, it's
I
like raisins and other things. So it's very
Yeah.
sweet, but it's like
I'd never had
Victorian times sweet.
Yeah.
I'd never had mincemeat before, and I just, for the very first time, because I've been reading this book about the origins of American Christmas, and spoiler alert, all of them are fake. Everything about it, even the stuff that has traditional European roots, did not come via like folkways. They came from some rich dudes in New York reading about them and being like, hey, this is better than people getting drunk on the streets. Let's try to bring this here. And then pretending that they were traditional. Anyway, so they were talking about mince so much that I was like, all right, I gotta try this shit. And so I made mince pies for the first time
Wow.
just this weekend. It was pretty good.
They're lovely. I mean, they're an acquired taste because they're quite rich and they're slightly alcoholic, and it's
Mhm.
all sort of suet is in there, which makes it trickier for vegans. So
Yeah,
it's
I didn't do that. Yeah, I left the suet out.
yeah. You can't have it without suet, but
And
you
I
can
heard
get.
I'm a vegetarian, right? So I heard you can throw meat in there too.
I think I keep people always say,
But
they used to have meat in the old days, but I've never known anybody to actually have
yeah.
meat in their mincemeat.
But yeah, so it's good. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of flavor. It's like because it's like dried fruit and nuts and rum and a lot of citrus and butter. Like it's so much stuff.
You have to imagine the cold winters of Victorian England, and it's like this is all the enjoyment you're getting for the entire year. So we're going to cram a lot of dense flavor into a single current. Which
and
is
whatever,
like also the enthusiasm people in the old days had for currants and dried fruits and nuts, which now are like a punishment for a child. But in those days, they looked at normal fruit and thought that it's just too moist. Dry it out. Now it's a party.
And whatever you don't eat of the mince, you just throw in the wassail bowl.
Yeah, it's thrown in the wassail bowl. Yeah.
Well, so thank you so much for stopping by our Christmas celebration, Alistair. Is there anything that you wanna promote or anything that you have coming up that people should know about?
No. I mean, if you're into folklore and traditions, I do a pod. I'm going to say that again if you don't mind editing. If you're into folklore and traditions, I do a podcast called Lawmen with James Shakeshaft, where we talk about the traditions of the British Isles and sometimes
I can't believe you haven't had me on your podcast yet.
Extremely rude. God, extremely rude that we haven't had you on.
We talked about this last time.
Talking about
nothing
Chicago
about
law.
that.
Yeah. Because you're an academic on
it's
lore,
not actually a windy city. The name.
Yeah,
I
just taught you that. Incredible.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a really great podcast. I really enjoy it. It's you guys rate lore, like, which is such a funny. Like, there's do you have Christmas lore episodes?
Yes. So a long time ago, probably during one of the first lockdowns, we did a live stream Christmas episode where James told a story about a pig that turned out to be way more about a pig than it was about Jesus. But he got to the pig via Jesus to make it seem Christmassy, and then just told the story about a pig. And at the end of the episode, I was like, James, that was mostly about a pig, not hardly a Christmas story at all. And so, almost to really sort of hammer that joke into the ground, since then we do Christmas pig episodes every year. Where we tell pig-related, hopefully festive stories, and let me tell you, there are not that many of them. So we are really, really running out of Christmas pigs.
Shocking.
That's so good. Yeah, guys, everybody, check it out. I will definitely be listening to your Christmas pig episodes in the coming days. But yeah, thank you for. Oh
my! Is that
What's
a rapping on our cabin door?
It looks like somebody's rapping on our. Actually, we already used the door, so it's somebody rapping on our.
Is that someone?
Somebody
in
not
the
window. That's
broken.
somebody's
in the basement. Somebody's in the basement of our Christmas cabin. I guess I'll go answer it if you want to say goodbye to our guest roses.
Alistair, if you could please leave via the window, that'd be great.
Oh, the window as well. All right, bye.
Matt, for the love of God, go answer the basement door. That is definitely a real thing.
I wanted to listen to the interstitial music.
It's getting louder.
All right, I'll go answer the door. Hello?
Oh, thank you finally for letting me out. I've been down there for.
Been in there?
Oh my God, it's I've been down there since forever. I've been locked down there with reindeer and Santa and.
Why are they down there? Look,
I don't know. What kind of a cabin are you running here?
We I'm sorry that we had to reschedule. I know you got here on time.
What? Oh.
And I told you to hide in the basement.
Oh, yeah. Is that what happened? Oh, I think I drank too much eggnog, and now I've just lost all
You
sense.
drank all our eggnog?
Shit, you didn't drink from the wassail bowl, did you?
Maybe.
Oh, I put some packing peanuts in there yesterday.
Yeah, if you have anything from the basement that you want to add, everybody's been adding to the wassail bowl.
Oh, sure. I've got some pine nuts and sawdust.
Mostly people have been adding solids to the wassail bowl, and it's really become a bad drink.
Isn't this an adventure game podcast? Aren't we not now creating the ultimate inventory item by combining all of these things into your wassail bowl or whatever it is?
It's like when you play what's that game where you type the words in and they just like happen to have every object possible?
Oh yeah,
that like kids game.
Yeah, for the DS, Scribblenauts.
Yeah, Scribblenauts. It's like Scribblenauts when you type in just like flying, flying invincible superhero lawyer or whatever, and can solve every puzzle. Well, that is this wassail bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to like come up out of the floor?
Oh yeah, come up out of the basement.
Oh, my back. Oh yes. Okay. Oh, here I am. Hello.
We've just been sitting here, me in my sexy red vinyl Santa costume,
goodness,
and Matt in his ugly sweater robe
had
thing.
just settled in for a long winter's nap.
Where did you get that outfit?
Anyway, we're not gonna Anyway, welcome to our cozy cabin.
Thanks.
Would you like a cider?
Yes,
warm
please.
Cider. Matt,
yes,
bring
please.
this man.
You got any hot butter rum while we're at it?
I'll check the Christmas cabinet.
Okay.
Everybody, this is Francisco Gonzalez. If you didn't know already, Francisco, thanks for coming and spending this little Christmas time with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
How have you been enjoying your holidays so far?
Well, I have been in a basement, working hard on my game called Rosewater, which was supposed to be out in 2024, but things happen, and now it will be out in 2025. So,
wow! Give us an exclusive. What month and day specifically?
I can't tell you that, but I will tell you that I will be making a major announcement in January with regards to more specific dates about when it will come out. So,
holy shit.
There you go.
Okay, yes, that's all well and good, but why am I not in your game?
What do you mean?
Okay, Roses has been assaulting everybody who comes in this cabin and demanding that she be part of their projects.
Oh,
she has to be
want
on
like
Alistair's podcast.
Oh, I see. Do you want to like appear as a background extra in a scene that I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I get to be a background extra.
All right, you can be too.
Wow.
Gee, see how easy it is.
This is how you get things done, Matt. You just harass people
you just
until
bring people to your trans-dimensional Christmas cabin, and then you force them to let you into their projects by locking them in the basement for several days.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of games and Christmas games, we were about to have a riveting conversation about Last Christmas. Not the George Michael song. Definitely a bop, but the game, yeah.
Yeah, so we all three played the game Last Christmas by Polytelly Games.
Yeah. I've got some thoughts.
Which is a cute little cute up to a point. It's a cute little AGS adventure, right? Like this was made in AGS, it seems.
Was it? I don't know.
Actually, I don't know.
It may have been.
I said that about the last game, and we learned it was not the case. So it's got that sort of vibe.
Okay, so this game is interesting because apparently it started off as a game jam game, right? Because there's two versions of it. There's two versions of it with different art, same voice acting, which I thought was interesting.
Okay.
But there's like an upgraded version on Steam.
Yeah. That's what I played, and I'll say that voice acting's like pretty good. I mean, there's only
I liked
one
it,
voice
yeah.
in the game.
I agree. I thought the voice acting was the best part of the game.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
What this voice actor does that man was not present in Watchover Christmas, and I think a lot of voice actors, especially non-professional voice actors, fail to do is he was subtle. He just
Yeah.
spoke like his normal voice,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that goes such a long way in
Yeah.
creating a character that's believable and a character you can stand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I think-
like the art too. I thought the art was clean. Everything
Same.
was very clean. Like the voice acting was very clean. The art looked very clean to me. It had a polish to it that I appreciated.
I thought it was a nice short little adventure that was about Christmas and other things.
So to give let's give some background for listeners. You are just like a man who's dressed in a Marty McFly outfit.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
You show up to your girlfriend's Christmas cabin and you're getting things ready for like a romantic Christmas Eve night with her. And you have like a little to-do list, and you got to get a tree and decorate it, and you've got to set up like a little Christmas table,
Like dinner.
Yeah, you don't actually make the food.
You make mulled wine, I believe, because you have
Yeah,
to get all
Yeah,
of the
yeah, cidery
ingredients.
mulled wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have to set up a sexy bed to retire to early, and a romantic bubble bath. I think
Yeah.
these are
Yes.
all the things you have to do.
Yes.
Um,
You should probably mention that this is a period piece because it takes place on Christmas 1989, I believe, or is it 1988?
Oh, I think I might have missed that.
Oh no,
I
it's very
assumed-
important.
Yeah,
That
I just
explains the
assumed it
cassette
was.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assumed it
Yeah.
was just for the last Christmas Wham cassette tape.
Right. No, well, I
thing.
mean, the whole thing is that it takes place 1988, and
Mhm.
then you find out at the end that last Christmas was Christmas 1987, and well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So I guess what happens throughout the game is, it's a lot of inventory puzzles. You're
Mhm.
sort of wandering around these. There's very few screens. And there's one that you don't do anything in, right? Like the backyard, you don't do anything in.
You don't do anything. That's correct. Yeah.
So
as far as I can
strange.
tell.
But it's just like the rooms of a house, and you have to come up with fucking point and click ass ways to make all these things happen, because you don't have a Christmas tree, you don't have Christmas decorations, you don't have fucking anything, right?
Yeah, in classic point and click character fashion, it's just substituting everything with passable substitutes.
Yeah.
Which oftentimes is like, pretty fine. Like you substitute a tablecloth with a bed sheet and a bed sheet with a curtain. But
I just thought of something really horrible, and I'm please forgive me for saying this. But
okay,
the guy puts all this stuff together, and then he's like, "Wow, I did such a bad job. I'm gonna fucking kill myself." Which is not funny at all. Why would why would I make such a joke? Oh, wait a minute. It's because that's actually what happens in this game, except not for that reason.
Yeah, not for that reason.
As you are going through doing this stuff, you just keep getting these flashes, and it seems like a sweet game. It's a little creepy, as in there's like kind of like discordant versions of Christmas songs happening. But as you're going through, you just get these flashes of dead people.
Yeah.
And I guess most of them are you, but not all of them, right?
No,
I think
they're
all
all
of them
you.
are you.
Oh,
Yeah,
all you.
all of them are you.
Oh, okay.
No, see, because one thing that I thought was a little cheap, and I don't want to dunk on this game too much, because, like I said, there's plenty of nice things. It's hard to talk about this game without talking about like the giant elephant in the room, which is the subject matter of like the big twist. I get that.
Mhm.
Yes.
But also another thing that I thought was a little cheap was that, like, in the Steam page description, it says there's 4 different endings. And Yeah, I guess
Oh.
technically there's 4 different endings, but the 4 different endings are literally just pick which one
Oh,
of the
I
4
see.
ways the guy offs himself to see. And that's not really a different ending.
You can pick?
Yeah, it depends on which of, because at the end, after everything goes crazy, like it shifts into this sort of like alternate thing where it's like, oh, what's going on? The cabin's empty, and each room has a light that flashes, and then like when you click on it, it says go into the light, and then you get like the scene of
Oh,
that,
I
and you
didn't know
can.
there was one of those in every room.
There's, well, not, I mean, there's one of them in the 4 rooms where you can see the scene. So like you can pick which one of those 4 you want to end the game on.
Strange.
But
Okay.
yeah.
That's such a strange thing, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dunk on this game,
Yeah.
but I do have criticisms of it.
Yeah. So I guess we
because-
should probably, before getting into that, like explain, because I think we've kind of danced around it. We should just like flat out say it. Like the twist of this game is the fact that the guy preparing all of this stuff is, I guess he's a ghost, and he's kind of remembering his last Christmas because it's a year later and like the cabin is abandoned and he's doing this. So the big twist at the end is that like once he puts it all together, like I said, like everything shifts into this alternate dimension kind of thing, or reality,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, where is everybody? And then you go into the light, and then it's revealed that he killed himself, and you
Right.
see his suicide note, and his suicide note is like, oh dear, I couldn't stand being all these months apart from you, so I've decided to take my life in the place that you'll be guaranteed to find me. Which,
really disgusting. Yeah, that's a
pin
disgusting
in that,
thing.
because that's
Yeah.
horrible. But
Yeah, disgusting. Yep.
yeah,
That made me very upset
yeah,
because this game it does have this twist where the guy, committed suicide. I wanted, as I was playing, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It almost feels like, you're going into this cabin, and let's just say that it's representing the suicidal person, somebody who is ideating, right? It's putting you in a cabin where something's amiss, but you're kind of ignoring it, which I'm kind of, that's the symbolism of depression. It doesn't look okay, but you're making it look okay. And now you're seeing all of these death scenes, and you have to see them to finish the game. You can choose which one to quote end him on, but you do have to go through the motions of this game. And I thought, well, that's kind of clever and kind of symbolic, because that is what ideation is like. You
Okay.
think about every way that you can end yourself. And so I didn't think the twist was going to be he's just simply a ghost who's also a dick. It got really very dark at the end, and I don't think they should have took it that way. I think
yeah.
I liked it to a point where I'm like, this is what ideation feels like. I can see this being significant. And then I was like, oh, the twist is interesting too, except they unfortunately made the character very unsympathetic by having what I think is a very unrealistic suicide note. I don't like that, as an advocate myself, as a survivor. If you've ever read any suicide notes, they're all full of lamenting and saying sorry and don't worry about, that's not really what that is. So I guess I wanted this game to mean more than it did, because the subject matter is so sensitive. So they just took it in a very dark way. They made this character very unsympathetic and unlikable, because he essentially took his life to get back at someone, which is horrible, obviously.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I also had a lot of issue with the note, not looking at it through that lens, which I don't have any experience with that, so I can't speak to that. But just from like a narrative sense, like there's no real explanation about why he's doing it, and it just kind of, it's like, I haven't been with you for a few months. Okay, so does that mean that you've been kept apart for some reason beyond your control? Is it that she's been ignoring you and you feel that you have to do this? Is it because, circumstance, like, or like, it's not really made clear why they haven't been together.
I
And
get the impression that he is a jilted lover because he was like, I'm gonna take my life where you are gonna find me.
right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I got. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just yeah, it just and
And
that
that, like,
part too is
I know
just
this is a story. I know it's meant to be dark, but I don't. It bothers me when there are
yeah,
these stigmatized representations of a suicidal person. And like I said,
yeah.
it's not that I'm offended. It's just I don't even know. It's just very dark. It's a very dark place
Yeah,
to bring it, right?
And then
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
it kind of throws all that out the window with like the literal Columbo epilogue
That's a
after the
weird. So
credits.
before
Yeah.
before we get to this epilogue, like I do want to talk about
Yeah.
some of the puzzles that we
Sure,
solved
sure.
because there's some fucking wild ones. Like, uh, you're supposed to you're making mulled wine and you don't have
Fucking
any and
puzzle.
like this is so I have a friend who played this game too, and she was not surprised by the suicide at the end because she was like, the whole game was creepy. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like,
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
you're poisoning people because you need for mulled wine you need spice, you need wine, you need citrus, and is that everything? Oh, you need two types of citrus. You need lemon and you need orange. So you don't have any of that stuff. So you use old spoiled grapes and a packet of bread yeast, and you put them together in a bottle. Then you put that on the stove with a lozenge you find stuck to a pillow that apparently this is their Christmas cabin. So this is at least a year old. and then the air freshener from your car, which is orange scented, and then a bottle of Old Spice cologne. That's
Right.
gonna kill somebody. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's also like that you go in. I was not surprised by this twist. I knew something was weird because the
Yeah.
cabin was weird. The cabin was
Yeah.
abandoned. And
I
he
mean,
was acting like nothing was wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely from the get-go it was pretty obvious that there was going to be like some sort of twist, and I was like, he's probably dead or something. I didn't expect like I figured it was like he was a ghost or something. I didn't expect
Mhm.
that it was because he had killed himself. Like that was
Right.
okay, whatever. But yeah,
I don't for whatever reason when I first played this game, I did not see this coming.
Oh wow, okay.
I was like, I mean, until the flashes started happening, and I thought, oh, that is really fucking weird. I didn't expect that. So then I was like, oh, I bet this place is haunted.
Sure.
And then no,
Right.
it is.
Yeah. And it's too bad because I like short and poignant pieces like this. I like things that make that impact. It's just unfortunate that it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. It started out kind of
A
strong.
bad taste like like mulled wine made with
Yeah, like
a
like
lozenge.
poisonous mulled wine. Yeah, terrible taste in my mouth. Yeah, I mean so much so I actually considered doing a full write-up and analysis on it, but also it's tough because this is an indie
Mhm.
developer. They did
Yeah.
clearly make the art that they wanted to make. I just think that it's potentially not a good
Harmful.
idea
Yeah.
to handle subjects like this.
So okay,
Yeah.
so we can get now I guess it's probably time to get into this ending. This
I don't
really
get it.
fucking strange ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Francisco, do you want to take it?
Ugh.
I mean, so the girl shows up.
It's 1 year before. She shows up 1 year before.
Right. She shows up 1 year before she goes in the cabin.
Okay.
She screams. Then, like, a little while later, this detective that looks like and sounds like Columbo shows up. And he's like, what are you doing in the outhouse? And she's like, they're going to kill me. And then it's like, first Christmas coming soon. It's like, okay. So this just pivoted into like some sort of weird cabin murderer horror movie. Like,
I don't know what they're doing.
What?
Yeah, like this wasn't the game. This was a preview for
Yeah.
the actual game you're gonna make. Like
I
what?
will say
Yeah.
I will say this though. If they go and do First Christmas from Betty's perspective, which is the girlfriend,
Yeah.
and they kind of pivot and make this character, Frankie, if they make him into the dick that they have him be in this game, I think that would speak a lot. I think it would really help.
Actually, I've just gone to the Steam page, and the blurb
Yeah.
says Christmas Eve 1987, and Betty travels up to the family cabin to prepare the original perfect Christmas for Frankie. discover the events leading up
What?
to last Christmas.
So, okay. So
Okay.
so they weren't broken up
I mean,
That's very confusing.
Because last Christmas,
because what she is preparing something for him.
right.
Uh,
Oh, wait, hold on. On Christmas Eve 1987, Betty arrives at the family cabin and finds herself faced not only with a seemingly endless list of tasks to prepare the perfect Christmas for her new boyfriend, but also tackling a stream of unwanted visitors.
What?
So Frankie is her new boyfriend.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
that is
Frankie's not her
Frankie.
ex-boyfriend.
No, well, at this time in 1987, Frankie is her new boyfriend. But then I guess at some point between 1987 and 1988, they were apart, which caused Frankie to take his own life.
Right.
So, to me, this whole thing is just like, okay, I would have been happy with a game that was just about making a shitty Christmas for your girlfriend and it's bad, right? Like that is fine. That's fine for me.
Yeah.
To me, that's like one of these classic AGS forum, like Big Blue Cup forums games. Is like you just make like the puzzles are all weird and the premise is very simple. Like, oh, make a Christmas, and that's like cute. It's fun. It's fine. You did not need to add suicide and murder and all, like it just seems so unnecessary.
Listen, I would even like it. Yeah, I would like it if it was just a cute, sweet and short thing. I would also like it if they kept the dark twist but handled it better and handled it maybe more realistically, because if it was more realistic, I think it would be more poignant for people. Versus did this guy did he just do this? Like the majority of people who struggle with suicide ideation don't want to hurt their loved ones.
Yeah.
I think if it was even I'm cool with a dark ending, man. I like a dark ending. I like a sad twist, especially if it's trying to say something. But what is this trying to say, really? I don't know. You know, it's
it does
just a
come
bit
out
much.
of left field.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the foreshadowing, but like it also doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Well, the foreshadowing comes out of left field too, is my thing. It's like, this game does do two cool things that I like. Two like just like very minor cool things. I liked setting up a bad Christmas. Like I liked that if I can ignore the rest. But
Sure.
it does do two cool things that I like. One, there's a locked room that stays locked the whole game and you never get in.
Wow.
That's bold. That's a bold
That
thing
is bold
to do.
Yeah.
And number two,
I bet you we'll find out what's behind that door in First Christmas, though.
Ooh, I bet you will.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Wow.
Number two, you could carry every inventory item in the game until the very end. You don't need to do things in any specific order. You can just go around collecting everything and solving it all in your head. And then just like at the very end, when you have every inventory item, go put them all down. Like, I think there's something really like fun about that. It's like what I always wanted to do as a kid when I played point and click games is I was like, oh, I lost the fish. I wish I had. I liked that inventory item. I wish I had them all. I was like collecting all this stuff.
That's sweet. Yeah, I didn't dislike this game at all. I just think it was handled in a way that it could have been even better. It could have been a more satisfying experience.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just like you say.
But do you guys know what the fact that you can carry all the inventory items at once means?
How much does your pants weigh?
How much do my pants weigh? Everybody, let's pivot away from suicide to a man with very heavy pants.
That came out of nowhere. This good twist came out of nowhere.
He's also wearing the Marty McFly jacket, which I assume has lots of pockets. So maybe the weight is dispersed evenly amongst all of his.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe he's got. Yeah, maybe it's how much does my entire body weigh?
Right.
Which the Columbo is going to have to figure out for himself pretty soon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saying that. Okay. So, what do you guys think? How much does? What do you guys think? Some of the most heavy inventory items in the game, besides the very obvious one.
The very
I
obvious
mean,
one being the Christmas tree.
The tree.
Yeah, you're holding an entire
An
Christmas
entire
tree.
tree.
And it's not like it's not like a room-sized
No.
tree. It is 2 floors tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is like an outdoor, like nature, huge fir tree.
Yeah.
Right.
What else was I carrying? I was carrying like the cassette, the boombox. We have the boombox.
You got a boombox,
The
yeah.
last
So-
day of Christmas, I was carrying things.
Got like an axe.
Some rotten grapes, a lozenge, and a sheet.
Nice. We've got like our Wham cassette tape, which that weighs nothing. An
And then the
axe.
cassette player. You got an axe. You got a
There's some,
cooking pot.
There's like candles at some point because we put it by the tub.
One of those big orange extension cords is pretty heavy.
That's pretty heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna and we're counting the tree, right?
An antique wooden chair. Remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, you're carrying everything at once because he
That's an
breaks the chair.
antique.
He breaks the chair into pieces, but he picks them all up. So he's got. The
Okay,
whole
and we're including this Christmas tree in the answer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I
We
don't
can
know how
delete
much
it.
a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Francisco, what do you think? How much does this man's pants weigh?
I'm gonna say 200 pounds even.
Okay, so around the weight of Wrath of the Gods, 200 pounds.
Right. That's right. Oh my god, that game makes me so
okay.
angry.
Can I just say that I was very disappointed that nobody commented on that fantastic line, "I'm old and have nothing to give you, but
have
then
nothing to
please
give
carry
you."
me."
That's so true. Oh my
That's
god,
my
no, we
life.
didn't talk about. And
That
what
is
is
literally my life's mantra. I am old and I have nothing to give you.
So if anyone didn't see that, we're talking about a game called Wrath of the Gods that we talked about last episode with Alex Perlman, Promania 500, and that we didn't talk about that scene because in that scene, yeah, it is like there's a pretty
I
woman
meant
and an
to.
old person, and both of them need to cross the river, and then it's like, oh, choose either the old woman who has nothing to give you or the young woman who will give you a prize on the other side, and it's
I
like,
carried them both, okay?
yeah, both of them need to be carried. Like,
Yeah.
how? Why is one more moral than the other? Either way, you're helping somebody who needs to get across the fucking river. What the fuck sort of morality is that? Where it's like young women do not deserve your help. It's
Yeah,
like what the game's saying. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Okay, I think it's gonna weigh approximately 150 pounds.
Oh wow, you guys both went over.
Mm.
It's
Oh.
actually a surprisingly small amount of weight. Because a Christmas tree is about 65 pounds.
That's
Yeah.
what I figured. I still got it wrong.
So overall, it's like 120 pounds.
Okay,
He's
wait, I
carrying
wasn't
about
that
100.
far off.
You weren't
No.
that far off, but you could
Listen,
carry 120 pounds around.
I have won both rounds of these games. I got closer than Alex and
Yes, you
closer
won.
to Francisco, and I want a prize.
You won. Your prize is
You have to
I will
carry the
carry
old
you
woman
across
across the river.
Oh, thanks. But I'm old and have nothing to give.
Can I
Yeah.
can I grab the reins now and shoehorn in my ulterior motive that I wanted to talk about on this as being a guest on your podcast again?
Well, listen. It's Christmas, and Christmas is a
Aw.
time for generosity. And one thing that we can be
Yay!
generous about is the hosting of this podcast. Go ahead.
I
We're
want to
your
talk
guests.
about.
We're your guests, and you're the host now.
No. That's too much responsibility.
Nope, too bad. Too late. Too late. If you
Well,
want to talk about it, you're the host now.
Okay, fine. Hello, welcome to my podcast. Did you save your game? I hope you did.
Oh dear God.
Now then, let's talk about a classic game from way back in 2004? Question mark? I actually don't know what year.
Golden years.
Yeah.
That's when I graduated high school.
Oh shit.
Oh wow. Let me find it exactly.
It's 2005.
2005. Okay, I wasn't too
when my
far off.
son was born.
Oh, good lord.
So
All right.
that gives you guys a little picture of what my life has been like.
So So when you said that this was a Christmas episode, I thought, well, you know what? I have a very, very, I don't want to say fond, but definitely a specific memory of a Christmas themed adventure puzzle that I think has gained somewhat of a reputation amongst the adventure game playing community, because it's one of those games from probably published by the Adventure Company,
Yeah,
developed by
2005?
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
actually,
yeah, yeah.
yes, it was.
It's-
I'm looking on
Yeah.
Wikipedia right now. Wikipedia, I said. It should be Wikipedia. Anyway,
Wikipedia, and
yeah.
it's made by Microids.
Made by
Microids.
Microids, published by the Adventure Company. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm talking about Still Life. Have either of you played Still Life?
I have, and it's been a while. It's been
Okay.
a really
Yeah.
long time now.
So
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
I'll lay my cards on the table. You told me you were going to be doing this, so I did play Still Life this week.
Holy
Oh my
shit,
God.
Matt.
I didn't
You're
finish it.
dedicated.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
don't
but-
bother. It
Is.
sucks.
He is.
What? Hold on. All right, we'll talk about it.
It's kind of
Okay.
beloved, though. All right, you've got 3 minutes
No.
to state your case on Still Life.
State my case. Okay.
Yeah, I assumed you were going to defend it. Am I wrong?
No,
Am
I hate
wrong?
Still Life. I fucking
What?
hate Still Life. It's one of the worst adventure games I've ever played.
So I
But I bring it up
yeah.
because it has a very appropriate puzzle for the season, which is the cookie puzzle.
I do
This
like
is the
a
worst
cookie
puzzle. This is okay. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell everyone about the cookie
Well,
puzzle.
the cookie puzzle in and of itself is terrible, and I'll explain why in a moment. But first, I want to explain within the wider context of the game why this cookie puzzle is just one of many reasons why Still Life is in fact the worst adventure game I have ever
Wow.
played. One of the
I was
worst
way
adventure
off. I don't know
games
why I
ever
thought
played.
you were going to defend it.
No, because it sucks. Okay, so Still Life is actually the second in a trilogy of games. There was a Still Life 2, which I never played. The first game was called Postmortem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't play that one
Yeah.
either. But Still Life is kind of a bridge game in that you play as this FBI agent named Victoria McPherson, I believe her name is.
Nice
I don't know why
name.
I'm guessing because I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Yeah, it's Victoria McPherson. She's an
You
FBI
just didn't want to
agent.
seem like you were looking at the Wikipedia, so you pretend like you're just remembering.
No, I'm looking.
Yeah, and
I
then
was, and then I
you're
looked
in,
at for confirmation.
2004 Chicago, I believe, with
You
visiting
are
his
in
father
Chicago.
for Christmas.
Holy
He
shit, I
discovers an old
forgot.
notebook by the belonged to a grandfather,
man.
I believe.
Okay,
Guys,
so you messaged.
Guys, did you know that I live in Chicago?
No.
I was just gonna say when I messaged Matt was like, Roses doesn't want to play Still Life, and I was like, you should tell Roses to play Still Life because the serial killer is literally an artist. She'd love it. And then I
forgot to
didn't even
say-
remember. I didn't even remember it took place in Chicago. So now you have double the reason to play it, Roses.
You just told me it's the worst game ever.
Yeah,
I
but you
don't-
should still play it because it
Oh,
sucks.
God.
To be fair, I don't think it's that bad of a game. I think it has some of those like early 2000s 3D adventure game problems. Like there's a bunch of rooms you walk through for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
it's a
there's
badly designed game, and I'll tell you why. I
Okay,
will give you the
please.
very short reason why. So the overall story is intriguing. You're an FBI
Yes.
agent. You're trying to track down this serial killer who's an artist. The murders are all like, I think they have to do with like art and like creating like I'm creating a portrait of her. I don't remember what the killer's name even is, but it's probably something stupid. But the thing is that it's like, oh, this serial killer is very similar to a case that your grandfather investigated in Prague in the 20s. So
Mhm.
part of the game, you play as her grandfather, who was the main character in Postmortem. So the game switches between 2004 Chicago and 1920s Prague. And it's interesting because it's like, oh, it might be the same guy or it might be a copycat, whatever. It actually never gets resolved, but that's another story.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
ends on a cliffhanger. You never find out who the killer is, and I think they kind of gloss over it in Still Life too.
fuck?
So it's heavily implied that it's her boyfriend that's the killer, but you never actually find out one way or
What?
another.
Okay. Unbelievable.
Wild.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, because he wears a mask because he's an artist, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean,
The problem-
I wear a mask all the time. I'm wearing one now.
Okay. Wow.
You can see
Bold.
because you're in the.
Yeah, how did I not realize it was a mess this whole time?
Trans-dimensional Christmas cabin.
The reason that this game sucks is because I've just explained the story to you. It sounds like an intriguing story, right? It sounds
Yeah.
like a story where you are uncovering clues and mysteries and stuff. But the game goes through incredible lengths to just stop you in your tracks every single time. Because literally every single person you meet is like, I have information for you, but I locked it in my safe and I forgot the combination. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
So you have to spend most of the game deciphering weird locks that these people have on their safes that no one would ever really have because that's not how locks work. So the cookie puzzle is just another example because it's like you're going home to your dad's house and like instead of being like, oh dad, I'm home, I'm going to look through grandpa's old things and like try and figure out who this killer is, because remember there's a serial killer on the loose and like we're racing against time here and every moment counts and we need to catch this guy, and our dad's like, could you please make me those cookies? And he's like, actually no, I watched a video and I forgot because she's like, well, I promised and a promise is a promise, I'll make you the cookies. So she's actually the one that's being proactive about wasting time because he's like, oh no, it's okay, you don't have to. And she's like, no, a promise is a promise. So then she goes into the kitchen and you can't proceed with this game until you make the cookies.
Correct.
And that's just part one.
Before you talk about what's really insane about this puzzle,
yeah,
I want to talk about her relationship to her dad for a minute because it fucking sucks. I don't know if you got this when you were playing it, but
I haven't played this game in like 20 years, so
it is so. The actors must not have been told they were father and daughter. It is very rife with sexual tension. The hugs are way too long, and even this recipe filters in to this idea that like, a daughter probably shouldn't be making this for her father. But yeah, there is so much sexual tension between the daughter and the father.
It's interesting you bring that up because I noticed something when I was I watched a video last night to refresh my memory so that I would be sure that I was being as accurate as possible and not just talking out my ass from what I vaguely remembered. So the whole conceit of the puzzle is that it's not a straightforward recipe because, of course, that's the problem with this puzzle too. There's no value to this puzzle. This puzzle is literally just there to stop the pacing of the story because she said she was going to make cookies for her dad. You don't learn anything of interest from completing this puzzle. It doesn't contribute to the story in any way, shape, or form. It's literally just follow a recipe. But oh no, it's not just follow a recipe. The recipe's in code. So it's not just use a cup of flour. It's, oh no, it's a cup of love. And another, and half a teaspoon. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you said that because I picked up on this from the video. So it's like, oh, half a cup of love. Oh, a teaspoon of desire, like love and whatever, or sensuality or whatever. And it's like, yeah. So essentially, you don't have any in-game way of knowing this aside from just trial and error, unless you have an idea of how to make cookies, in which case you can kind of be like, okay, well, I guess this kind of makes sense. So short of like using an actual walkthrough, you would have to use outside knowledge. This is literally like the old man in Hugo's House of Horrors. Yes, I'm bringing that up because fuck that game.
Oh, that guy.
So this is a puzzle that requires outside knowledge if you don't already have it. And other than that, it's just guessing. And like looking at it now, having made cookies, I'm like, okay, I could probably have figured this out. But when I first played this and I hadn't made cookies, I was like, how the hell would I know this? But yeah, even still, it's just like, it's just an exercise in futility and frustration. And like,
even then, like, okay, ginger and cinnamon are romance and sensuality. Roses, which one's which?
Yeah, exactly.
Roses, which of ginger and cinnamon, which one's romance, which one's sensuality?
So cinnamon is sensuality.
Okay, you got it right. I thought cinnamon was romance and ginger was sensuality because, like, you'd think like,
no, because cinnamon has the spiciness.
I was thinking in
yeah. So then, why is ginger romance?
Because it makes your stomach feel better.
The trope of redheads in media is
Yeah.
that they are all sensual, right? Like there's something
Ah.
sensual
Yeah.
about being. So it's like, oh, ginger
I
sensuality.
mean, as the resident
Cinnamon.
redhead, you should know about this, right?
I'm not. I am blonde. Okay.
Oh, dear.
But
well, do you have more fun then?
I could have sworn. Well, I had a kid at I had a kid
Oh,
a
God.
year after high
You
school, so
spicy.
apparently I had
Okay,
plenty of
all right.
fun. So apparently I had plenty of ginger and cinnamon, if you know
Yeah,
what I
man,
mean.
man had
Whoa.
a lot of cinnamon.
So,
well, actually, go ahead.
well, because so I knew that commitment was flour because 2 cups, right? There's nothing else that you would do that much of besides flour. But it's just
And
like
also, flour is like a
integrity.
binding agent, so commitment is kind of also a binding agent.
Well,
which
that's
is
why I was
kind of
thinking
where I see that,
integrity.
but-
Look at
Because
that.
flour
I don't
would
understand-
create the
okay.
integrity of the cookie. Flour
Explain to me,
literally is the
though.
integrity of the cookie.
How is an egg common sense?
Yeah, you only know that because there's not a measurement.
Because
Right,
you're,
exactly.
No, because you're a good egg. You're a smart egg.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay, but here's the gross one. Which
I also
only
thought
picked
milk
up
was
on.
generosity because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
the cow's being generous with it.
No, milk is love.
Yeah,
A
I
cup
know.
of love is a cup of milk, which is to me
Gross.
disgusting and
Disgusting,
horrible
yeah.
for obvious reasons. Also because in Spanish, like Spanish from Spain slang, milk is semen. So
Oh,
it's quite literally
God. Okay,
a cup of love.
a whole cup
Which love is, I guess, could also be slang for that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Continue.
So the cookie puzzle sucks. It's bad. But it's Christmassy because you're making. Oh, that's the other thing too. Weirdly enough, it's like, oh, I'm gonna make you those cookies, and then when you get to the recipe, you're making a gingerbread man all of a sudden. It's not even consistent.
And you don't see the cookies ever, right? Like,
No!
I mean, I haven't got to the end of the game, but yeah, you just put them in the oven, leave, and then go solve a murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think
It's-
that like it gives it a sense of like levity because you are like you're
No!
No,
like,
it's
okay,
frustrating.
well,
It's just
alright.
shitty. You know, but
It's
but
just
hey,
another in a long line of stop the game to do a stupid puzzle.
It's like a
You know,
mini game.
Francisco,
in this game. Yeah.
It does make me want to say, how about in Rosewater you include at least one puzzle that's completely subjective, where there's not an objective logic to it. It is just kind of based on vibes. What do you think love is? What do you think sweetness is?
I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Oh, it's milk. Sorry, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
milk.
it's milk. I forgot about
It's
that.
milk.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
whole
of course.
One full of cup of milk. Did you have
Yeah.
anything else to say about still life? But I'm taking the host duties back from you. Do you have anything else to say about still life before we leave?
No, but I do want to remember. I do remember that when I bought it at Best Buy, because that's how old I am. I remember when Best Buy still sold like the big box computer games. Although it was mid 2000s, so it was the little boxes. I remember going to the cashier and like buying it, like presenting it to the cashier, and the cashier looked at it and he was like, "Oh, still life. That sounds mysterious." And I was like. I
Wow.
guess so. And then later, like years later, now I'm like, is he flirting with me?
He's like, I hear
Was
there's
he
a cup
like-
of love in this game.
Yeah, he was like, oh man, this nerd who plays adventure games, I'm gonna have to give him a cup of love.
A bit of cinnamon spice, maybe.
Little
Oh,
cinnamon, little
geez.
ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well,
So, yeah.
that's Still Life, another Christmas game, and last Christmas a Christmas suicide game.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
We're not. This is what? Why did I get these games? What are you
Well-
trying to say?
Francisco,
Yeah.
thank you so much of Grundislav Games, as it were.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming and celebrating
Thank you.
Christmas with us here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have one more question. Roses.
Oh. Yeah.
What is your stance on eggnog?
Oh,
You like it? Do you not like it?
I don't like eggnog.
Oh, he doesn't like it, Matt.
I don't like the taste of eggnog because eggnog is too bubblegum flavored for me.
It's very
Whoa!
sweet. It is very
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And another reason I don't like eggnog is because I used to work at Starbucks, and when they would have eggnog lattes, you had to steam the eggnog. And I don't know
The
if you've ever
hardest thing in the
steamed
world.
eggnog. It not only is it the hardest thing in the world to steam, but it also screeches like a
Ugh.
banshee. It's
Yes.
horrible.
I worked at a Barnes & Noble cafe who had Starbucks coffee. Yeah, and they don't even do eggnog lattes anymore because I
Good.
guess
Yeah, they
it
don't
sucks
do it.
so bad. And you
Yeah.
had to make them extra hot. Like the only way to
Yep.
get it to foam up is like insane heat.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm drinking in Evan Williams Original Southern Eggnog. It is bad. It has
It's bad.
bourbon, blended whiskey, rum, and brandy in it. It's still only 30 proof, but it is too alcoholic.
Oh no.
So
It might be the sugar too. Gets you.
But do you want to know what I just ordered?
Yes.
What's that?
A mocha bananas Foster's latte.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
Christmassy.
Yep.
What?
Very
So without
Christmassy.
eggnog, what's your like go-to Christmas treat, Francisco?
You know, I don't know if they're Christmassy, but I've only ever seen them in our house around the Christmas holidays. But my partner orders from nuts.com these little chocolate balls, rum cordials.
Oh,
yeah.
yummy.
Those
are
things are
very
like
Christmassy.
crack to me. I can
Nice.
eat like a whole jar of them and then feel instant regret. But
Hey,
they're delightful.
Do you guys know that is actual? I mean, I know it's actual rum that they have in those.
Yeah.
Is it de-alcoholized, or can you get drunk on rum, on like rum cordials and rum?
I feel
balls?
like you'd have to eat like 500 of them to get drunk on
Yeah.
rum cordials. But
Okay.
it's kind of like rum cake. Like it actually has rum in it, but you'd have to eat a lot to get
It's
drunk.
a very small amount. You would have to you'd have to eat so many, like a few pounds.
Yeah.
Which no one's gonna do.
Well,
or maybe Francisco will, I don't know.
No, well, I wouldn't, but I'm sure there's people out there who'd be like, I accept the challenge. And
Yeah,
probably would
if
do that.
you're a listener and you eat so many rum cordials you get wasted,
Yeah, let us
send us an
know.
email.
I will tell you though that I did discover a couple of Christmases ago. I made reference to it earlier. Butter rum, which I thought I read about it. I was like, yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, ooh, butter rum. That's probably like butterscotch. It's probably sweet and nice. And cool.
Oh, no, it's
It's
not.
literally melting a stick of butter into like Kraken.
Yeah, it's
So
wrong.
it's just greasy rum is what it
Yep.
is. But it does the job.
That's about right.
Tell you that.
All right. Well, again, thank you for stopping
Yep.
by,
Of
Francisco.
course.
Rosewater out in 2025,
Uh-huh.
allegedly.
Yep.
Keep your eyes out in January for an announcement.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
oh no,
Really?
we're getting a knock on the. Where's that knock coming from?
Oh shit! I gotta jump out the window. Excuse me.
I didn't even have to ask him. He just willingly jumped out the window.
Well,
I'm pretty
I guess-
happy with that.
Well, Francisco's gone. I hope he's alive.
I'm pretty
and
sure it's coming from the wine cellar.
Why do we have two basements, by the way, in our cabinet? We have the basement and then a separate wine cellar. All right, I'll go. Here, do you want to go answer this one together?
I'll go. Yeah, let's go together to the wine cellar. Do you want
Okay,
to
hold
hold
my
hands
hand and
and
let's
skip?
skip.
Yeah.
Yes, please. All right. We'll be back in a minute.
Yes, Fortunato! For the love of God!
Oh my God,
hi,
Matt,
everybody.
who is in
Oh my-
there?
Hey, Jeff. What were you doing down in the wine cellar?
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I am a little worried about it. Is
Don't
the
worry about
wine
it.
there?
The wine is there minus one delicious bottle of Amontillado that I've stored in the very back. We can go see it if you'd like. I could take you. It's all,
No,
it's all the
you
way
know
in
what,
the
it's
back
fine.
of
Oh,
the
that's
cellar.
okay.
It's fine.
I've been doing some masonry work in the back, so we'll have to
It's
step over some
fine.
masonry. It's a really nice bottle if you'd like it.
I know. I don't need to see it.
Okay, that's fine.
I have a better
Uh,
idea. I have a
what's
much
that?
better idea. Jeff, why don't you take yourself out of this cold, dark, slightly nerdy wine cellar and join us for a little video game talk in our cabin. We have cider.
That sounds lovely. Do we have any eggnog? You know I love my eggnog.
Well,
Matt.
okay, we have a bunch of drinks. We have some
You
cider.
do.
We have British cider, meaning it's alcoholic, and we have American cider, which we learned the difference between.
That is true.
earlier.
That is true. I do know that.
We have eggnog of the alcoholic and non-alcoholic varieties also, and then we have this wassail bowl. If you have anything you want to put in the wassail bowl, people have been putting stuff in it all night. And I guess at the end, me and Roses will drink it and die. So
Yeah,
Great.
Julia spit in it. I put some styrofoam peanuts in it. So whatever you want to put in it.
whatever, a little bit of liquid would probably be nice by about now.
Well, I do have some 2-year-old aged eggnog that I will just gotta. It's less of a pour and more of a scoop at this point, but I'm kind
All
of
right.
scrape it in there.
Thanks for adding to the
Thanks.
wassail bowl. This will be a real good drink at the end. Jeff Stormer, thank you for coming to our Christmas cabin to talk adventure games with us.
I'm so excited. This is really a highlight of my night. I'm thrilled to be here.
How's things?
Oh,
How's
Matt,
your
you're so nice.
Christmas been so far?
I'm pretty good. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I am a certified Christmas head.
Where do you get that certification, by the way?
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Oh, I've been calling my local county office.
Oh, sure.
hanging up on me.
No, that's how you get a notary certification. I can see the confusion.
Okay, all right.
By the way, though, I do have some documents that I need. This might actually be a really mutual trade-off while I'm here.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, I can notarize those for you if you can just point me in the vague direction of Santa Claus, and I'll just head that way after.
Yeah, it's
Vague direction.
Hold on, I'm gonna do the finger lick. Get the wind on. It's that one. It's north.
Okay, all right. After we finish talking about this game, I think I'll head that way and see if I can get certified.
Great.
Jeff, you just wrote a book?
I did. I just wrote a book. I wrote a book. You can find it in stores as of like mid to late January. I should probably have a date, but I don't. I'm certain they gave me one. Don't ask me if I remember it. It'll be out in late January. It's by me. It's by John. It's almost like it's a great book. It's by a great
John
author.
Grisham.
Yeah, we're just talking about a book that I own, right? Like it's
You took a John Grisham book and you wrote it down word for word. Like an old monk, you illuminated a manuscript of The Sperm by John Grisham.
I have a great book. It's called Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. It's really great. It introduces a really great character named Mitharandu.
Ooh.
Let me tell you about this Mitharandu guy.
Okay, why don't you tell us about your book just real quick?
Sure. The book that I wrote is called The Ultimate Fantasy Character Creator. It is a guide for LARPers, fantasy writers, role players, people who love fantasy, and it is a guide about making and fleshing out fantasy characters. It is about 100 exercises to flesh out every little detail of your character's life, from their clothing choices, their fighting style, what they did yesterday, what they had for breakfast, all kinds of different little things. And the goal is really just to like create characters with a little bit of depth and who are, regardless of how fantastical their circumstances, they are human. They have fleshed out, everyday human lives.
Nice.
That's awesome. That is very cool. I mean, I'll tell you, I hate fantasy. Me and as you can see, I'm petting a flying reindeer right now. Me
Sure.
and my flying reindeer, we both hate fantasy.
I get it. I mean, look, I wrote a book about fantasy, but admittedly, like, I'm really more of the airport paperback sort. You can give me a story about like a difficult business deal.
A lawyer who's in some real trouble
He
with
gets
the
in
mafia.
some real the jury selection process, some real drama kicks in. I don't know why we're going so hard on John Grisham while we're on this call.
Sorry, John. Sorry.
I guess it's in case my dad listens, so he turns it off. So he gets to this point, he's like, I was with you until the John Grisham hate, and then he turns it. That's not what my dad sounds like. My dad sounds like me, only slightly higher pitched.
Your dad sounds like the villain of a John Grisham. God damn it! We can't! Jurors in! We're gonna compromise the case!
Only uses 2 curse words, damn and hell. Where the damn is this hell, lawyer?
Sorry, John Grisham. I take no responsibility for what these two men are saying. Carry on.
Can't
What
believe
if
Matt's
John-
dad is James Caan.
What if John Grisham? What if John Grisham is secretly a huge adventure game fan and listens to every episode and he's sitting at home on Christmas listening to this? He's like, "Oh, can't wait to listen to my favorite podcast." He's like, "Oh, what?"
He's typing out the email to ask if he can be a guest on the show.
Oh, man.
Quietly hits delete email. Closes his laptop. Looks
John
out
Grisham.
a window.
John Grisham's Worst Christmas. That would be a good adventure game too. John Grisham's
would
Worst
do it, yeah.
Christmas.
I would play only if it included a long subplot where you had to select a jury.
Oh, God.
Okay, so all right, so Jeff
Yes.
and Roses,
Hi.
the 3 of us, all sat down together in one big comfy chair, and we played Azazel's Christmas Fable.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just high level, what are your thoughts initially?
I love it.
I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really
Yeah.
fun. I thought the writing genuinely had some jokes that made me laugh and pop me. I really the best possible kind of experience from an adventure game.
Listen, Jeff, if you could see the other games we played, you would know that this is it takes it. This is a breath of fresh air for me. I loved this game. I thought it was super cute. Thought it looked really cute. I like the voice acting. Very reminiscent of 90s.
Yeah,
90s point and clicks. Yeah.
Very, very you could really see a lot of Monkey Island in this. It was really, really cute.
Yeah. It's nice and short too.
Really easy to knock out in an evening, which
yeah.
was really nice.
Very breezy.
And a lot of the it did a thing that I really like in adventure games where as a as a guy who pays taxes, my time is at a premium, right? So I appreciate that the puzzles weren't punishingly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You could piece together a lot of things, and they gave you the clues to be oh, okay, I see where I got to go from here.
Yeah. No, it was very intuitive. I would say this was I don't know how you feel, Matt. Since we did play 4 games, this is the best one that we've played out of these Christmas games.
Well, if you remember from the intro that we definitely already recorded, I've played 6 games, but yeah, this is 100% the best one.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, it's cute. It is legitimately funny at times. The puzzles, they are challenging enough to make you think, but not challenging enough where you're not likely to get.
They're not King's Questing you.
No.
No. Even when you get stuck, I got stuck a couple times, had to look up a walkthrough a couple times. It was the sort of thing where what you want to do when you look at a walkthrough is go, "Oh God, I'm so stupid," rather than "Oh, how the hell was I supposed to know that?" Right?
Yeah.
Or you want the experience that I had at least once, where you read half of the you read half of the directions. And then you go, okay, nope, I got it from here. I see what I see now.
Oh
I
my
got
God.
it.
One of my favorite things to do with adventure games, we haven't talked about this on the show yet, but is go to a walkthrough or see a screenshot in a walkthrough and just see an inventory item that I don't have yet.
Yeah.
And just from there, just be like, okay, all right,
oh,
I know.
I see how this is going to connect to the puzzles that I'm facing. Got it. I'm
Yes.
locked in.
I know where I can deduce where I should find that inventory item, or I said,
And that experience of when you don't read the full solution, but you get just enough to kind of click it into place and be like, okay, that to me is the sign of really good writing, because that means that once presented with a clue, you can see how it leads to the solution.
Yeah, Roses, do you want to walk people through the basic plot here?
Yeah, let's give him some premise here. So you're playing Azazel. You seem to be a demon from hell. You have a boss and a superior. The boss's name is that Gorgamon, the big guy?
Yeah. Big guy. Big guy's Gorgamon, and then all the other devils are there's
There's like a
a
Beelzebub, right?
Beelzebub, and there's
Yeah.
a Mephistopheles, and then
So yeah, you were playing Azazel, and for whatever reason, it's just like I think in one of the other Christmas games we played, Gorgamon has a problem with Santa Claus. I
They got
don't really
beef.
know why. Yeah, I don't know why all these games are like, you know what, somebody's got a beef with Santa Claus.
everyone hates Santa Claus.
Yeah. So you as Azazel, you got to go to this like Christmassy town. It's very cute. And basically steal what is it? Like what would you call like a magical star? Like a
Yeah.
magical sentient
Yeah, it's like the
star?
North Star kind of. Like it's
Yeah.
like the Christmas star.
I think
Yeah,
it's called
and-
like the Frozen Star or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the heart of Christmas, basically.
Yeah, so you're basically tasked with ruining Christmas. Even because you've been slacking. Azazel hasn't been the best demon.
Okay.
He actually has some empathy towards the people he's supposed to be torturing.
So real quiet quitting situation.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, you go down to this village and you're just meant to fuck things up. That is what you're doing. But in that quest to fuck things up, kind of realize Azazel likes Christmas. He doesn't really have any interest in messing things up. It's very cute. I really like this game a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of that story. It's kind of like that classic story of a guy who is sort of performing the trappings of an identity. He clearly likes all his references are hell and torture based,
Right.
and he likes causing mischief. But that's not the identity that like is in his soul, right?
Right.
He's actually kind of a sweet guy, and he does not want to hurt people. And you can tell that even as you're walking around the town and like trying to do shitty things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, no, I don't think I should do that.
Exactly. He asks a girl out and she says no, and he's just, and anytime you try to talk to her again, he's like, I don't think I should bother her anymore.
Oh.
And if you try, he has a taser that I found right away, and he just refuses to tase anybody. Pretty much.
There was one very funny thing that I thought happened, because this is an adventure game. The protagonist is going to ruin something. That is just what happens in adventure games, whether on accident or on purpose. There is a part where we're in like an archived like library situation, and we burn half of it down.
Half of it is burned to the ground. And
That
then
woman
just moves on.
We've ruined that woman's whole career.
Her career is
She has
ruined.
a chair to authenticate elf identities, which is a weird
Yes.
thing. And we destroy it by jamming tape into it, and then we burn down her library.
Oops.
Just,
Oops.
you know. Also, the thing I really want to talk about is Matt, you gestured towards it, but the taser puzzle is very funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very specifically, the thing that's very funny to me is like it's truly the first puzzle you run into.
Yeah.
Like one of the
Yeah,
first
it
things
is.
you do is you walk into a barn, and like the puzzle of like how to get stuff in the barn is they show you a locker and they're like, this requires a 4-digit code, and you're like, all right, well, it's a 4-digit code around Christmas.
Yeah.
And then half of the game later, like truly half of the game later, somebody says to you, man, those elves have a lock on their lockers, and they say it's their favorite day of the year. And I'm like, man, I solved that at Outwork. Why are you telling me this now?
I have such like adventure game brain rot that I saw that and I didn't even attempt to solve it. I was like, there will be a clue later.
Wow.
I just closed it. I didn't. And then when I got the solution, I was like, I could have solved that immediately.
Yeah,
What?
you can do it immediately. Yep.
If you were to guess a 4-digit number around I got a spoiler. A spoiler for a puzzle. I don't know if the listeners are going to be upset about that, but you know what? Like, it was so funny to me to open that and just be like, 4-digit number, Christmas. Got it. Okay, we're in.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and the 4 digits are separated. Like there's a separator in the middle, so you know
Yeah.
it's 2 digits and 2 digits. Yeah.
And then half of the game later, they're like, I have a clue, a juicy clue. And I'm like, all right.
So this game also has a collection element, like a hidden. There's a type of collectible that's hidden throughout the game. Did you guys find them all?
I did not. I did not piece together that was a thing.
Are you talking about
They're
the balloons?
the Christmas crackers.
What are you
So
talking?
throughout the
Crackers?
entire game, there are Christmas crackers hidden in the background.
What the fuck is a Christmas cracker?
It's like a little noise, like a little like pop. You know, like it's a little like paper thing you pull and make it. I didn't. Matt, I completely missed this. I'm not gonna.
You
lie.
didn't find even one of these?
I did not piece this together.
Roses, how about you?
I don't think I did. I was
Did
very
you guys
focused.
So neither of you even questioned why in your inventory you had a gray picture of a Christmas cracker, and when you clicked on it, it was an empty shelf.
I thought that was just a little graphic to separate inventory. Like I never clicked that because I did not think it was a graphic that was clickable. I thought that was just a fun little geometric Christmassy pattern.
That's so funny. Yeah, every single screen in the game has one Christmas cracker hidden on it.
You know what? This reminds me of Watchover Christmas, but like shorter and better, because that had a collectathon element to it as well.
Yes, that had presents that were scattered.
And you're
about
saving
the world.
Santa in that game.
And you're not a demon, but you might as well be for the way that little boy corrupted my soul and brain.
Yeah.
It's hard when we get just like kind of a good game
to
talk about it for very long, because what do you say? Like, it's good. Yeah, it's funny.
Good.
The jokes, good.
The puzzles, the jokes hit, which really you know, you kind of expect a couple groaners, but like the jokes, like there were a couple ones that like really the musical interlude in the middle.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Genuinely popped me. I was like, I've solved it, and then they did the joke there, and it's like, oh, that's really funny.
That is very good. The only line that has ever stuck with me. I've played this game twice. I played it the year it came out too. And the only line that's ever stuck with me is "Deck the halls with strung up bodies."
Like a great gag when that happens on screen. You're like, that's pretty good.
And that. Does that serve a Oh, it does. It gets one guy away from the thing you need.
His glass, so you can get his fingerprint to get, which is like that's great. That's great puzzle work. Like that's also good.
A fucking hilarious twist on that puzzle. It's such a simple and tiny twist on that puzzle. It's like in a lot of adventure games, you have to find some dust and you have to find some tape, and then you dust a fingerprint off something, right? But in this, you do it with a packet of hot chocolate, which is
really fun.
It's it's very Christmassy, which I really appreciate, because we did play a couple games that were it didn't give me the Christmas spirit, let's just say that. This one really feels like a Christmas goth adventure game, because it's got that dark, we are playing a demon, keep in mind. It's very like strangely like Nightmare Before Christmas meets like Elf meets like adventure game. I appreciate it even more, and it makes me sad because when am I ever going to play this game again?
Sure.
Because it is so. Do you guys find that like it is so specifically? So Matt, I didn't know.
I guess Christmas, make it a yearly tradition. I mean, it's a game that genuinely you could cruise through in like an afternoon. So like you could just be like, all right, it's our annual Azazel's playthrough, and then you just kind of be like, I'm curling up by the fire. I got some nog, and I'm just gonna cruise through it.
I would just like to know if anybody plays this out of season, because it's still a really good adventure game. And I don't want people to wait until the holidays to play it, you know?
Yeah, you want people to go after listening to this episode and play it. Well, hopefully, if you listen to this episode in December, right, you'll still sort of be in the Christmassy mood. It's very Christmassy. Like, it would feel weird to play this game outside of that season, but if you've never played it, I mean, I suggest it. The other thing about it is it's all made by one dude, Greg Mulbach.
Really?
Right, yeah.
And I think he does every voice in the game.
That feels right because of how similar everyone sounds.
Everybody sounds similar, and a lot of people are pitched. So like as Azazel is has a slightly squeaky voice, which I think is just I think it's sounds like this guy Greg Malbach's voice, just slightly pitched up. And then because then when you talk to the lone girl elf, oh no, I guess there's a couple. Never
There's
mind.
a couple. Yeah.
When you talk to the girl, the first elf you meet, the girl outside the like Santa
Yeah.
Claus's castle.
Yeah. She's like
is
she's like a ticket. What do you think her job is?
security guard? I don't know. It's hard to say. She stands there and tells you that there's a magical barrier to stop you from going into the castle. That's her whole job. She has the same voice, just even higher pitched up.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
That's wild.
That's a great job, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
yeah. I think it's, again, it can be hard to talk about. It's just like a good game. There also there is a couple things, like there's a slider puzzle in it, which might bump
Right.
some people out, but it's not that bad of
It's
one.
not that hard. Yeah, it's not that hard. So I forgave it because I am the queen of disliking slider puzzles. I hate
Yeah.
them.
Sure.
But this one wasn't bad. I'll let it slide. I'll let
And
it
there is-
slide.
Nice.
Hey.
Hey.
And there is a straight up deduction logic puzzle in it where you have to retrieve something from an archive, and you know a couple codes to get the thing
Right.
from the archive, and you have like a chart, and you have to basically figure out. It's very simple deduction puzzle,
Which,
but
like, admittedly,
appreciate-
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I am a big ARG guy, so like that, like you show me a bunch of symbols and then tell me to solve a thing, and I'm immediately like cracking my knuckles. I'm like, all right, let's dig into the
Let me
source
get
code
it.
of the game. Let me make sure there's nothing hidden in here.
Let me scan everything in the game with a barcode scanner, and let's see if anything pops up.
I really
Um,
liked tricking the golf guy into thinking that I was some kind of amazing golfer.
That's really
Also,
funny.
We also may have ruined his life, like just a little tiny bit. We did steal his glasses.
We stole his glasses and his expensive golf club, but we gave his
We
golf
gave
club
it back. We
Yeah.
gave back the golf club because he felt bad about it.
I also like very much that they introduce a magic golf club that would solve all of our problems, and they quite literally hang it on the wall in the first act.
Yeah,
And
they
you-
did.
And then it
never-
does not get fired at any point.
You never get it. You never get to touch it. And that is very funny. I also I like the fact that it has one of those, LucasArts games always ended in kind of like a boss battle.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
it's
this
true.
game ends in a point and click puzzly boss battle that also is really good. Everything I don't want to give too much away to people here because I think they should go play it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I do too. Matt, in the
Yes.
golf store, did you find that very Space Questy? Because I did. I could not think of Space Quest 4. There's like a clothing fashion store.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I was like, oh, I feel very Space Questy right now.
right, and it's got that Space Quest thing of like, here's a commercial Earth thing that's just out in
Yeah.
the middle of space for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you guys have anything else to say about Azazel's Christmas Fable before
I'm
we
trying to
wrap
think.
it up?
I don't think so.
I was just surprised by it pleasantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
was just
and
a
I
very
hope
good
people
one.
play it. Yeah, like you said, Matt, some people celebrate a little after Christmas because time is a construct. Who cares when you celebrate? Definitely give it a play. I think it's cute. And if you like 90s point and clicks, I think you'll appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I think so too. I really cute is the word I would use, and I appreciate that I appreciate it was a very it was a fun homage to that style of very like big LucasArts 90s energy. But
Yeah.
it also was really just like a cute story that hit the writing was good, really pleased with the entire experience.
And
Yeah.
I'll say cute without being saccharine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that kind. It's not that specific kind of syrupy cute. It's just
Yeah.
pleasant. Yeah.
Cute in a way that feels like it's respecting like regardless of your age, respecting you as the viewer, because I feel like sometimes if a thing sets out to be cute, it can kind of come across as like a little condescending. I think
Yeah,
sometimes people
yeah.
who try to write like all ages entertainment come across as like a little dismissive of their audience, but like this felt like regardless of your age, you would get like a kick out of it.
I also
Yeah,
think it is.
yeah.
It is. I didn't even realize that it is pretty much all ages, right? Even
Yeah,
the
it is.
adult jokes are just like somebody gets drunk.
And like the hell jokes like are pretty predicated on like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be mean and tickle.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of like tickling is like torture.
I guess you
Yeah.
do poison a gingerbread man, and as a result of that, he gets sent to hell. But he gets sent to hell because when he wakes up, he hits. What does he hit his toe or something and says the J word?
The J word? What's the J word?
That's what he just says. I said the J word, like because he says.
Oh, okay.
I think
When
he
he's-
specifically, well, I think they gesture towards it because I believe he then follows that up by saying he says it in vain. So I think the implication is that he is in this world, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is still to be honored.
Oh, I
my
didn't.
gosh.
I thought because immediately as Azazel says, "What jelly beans?" and so I thought they were just kind of intimating at
Maybe.
like
That
at,
might
like,
be the case.
oh, a
I may have
random word.
read too much into it and been like, oh wow, he dishonored the
funny.
Savior.
That is wonderful.
All right, so Jeff, in addition to your new book, The Ultimate Fantasy Character Creator,
Yep.
and your hit award-winning
Award-winning.
podcast, Party of One,
Correct.
you also do a yearly podcast.
The world's leading, and as far as I can tell, only
Podcast about eggnog.
I do. I've got a glass of eggnog right here, which is why I'm just getting a little bit more silly as we go on.
Guys, I have 2 glasses of eggnog here. I had a non-alcoholic one that was filled to the brim of some upstate eggnog,
Okay.
upstate holiday nog, because they have 3 types. They have premium, they have classic, and they have holiday.
Great.
And they
Wow.
are literally all different. I've studied the ingredient, and then I had an Evan Williams eggnog.
Evan Williams is pretty good. That's a pretty solid. Having had here's so the problem here. I talked about this on Bluesky the other day. The problem that I've run into. I guess I should give the premise of the thing. So I host a yearly podcast called Talking Nog, which is a podcast about all things eggnog. We answer listener questions. We look at listener photos. We share stories and celebrate. It's a yearly tradition honoring a yearly tradition. The problem is this bit started as a joke about like I don't know anything about eggnog and I'm going to pretend to be an expert on this subject. The problem is that I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And now I actually know a lot about egg. Like I've learned a lot about eggnog, and this has at some point stopped being a bit.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it when you like kind of jokingly do something for novel's sake, and then it's like, oh, actually, this is quite interesting. I want to keep doing it for 5 years.
I've gotten enough questions about like commercially available brands of eggnog that I've tried a lot of them, and I can actually give informed recommendations. And like, I'm now grappling with this knowledge about myself.
Okay. Worst brand of eggnog.
I'm going to give a category because I think it is kind of true largely across the board.
Mhm.
And this is a thing that has come up, I think, on every single episode. Someone has asked about this, and I've done a lot of research about it. Every single store-bought vegan eggnog
Ugh.
is trash.
Okay.
They're all bad.
Yeah.
If you want a vegan eggnog, if you want a non-dairy vegan eggnog, you have to make it yourself. There are
Yes.
recipes I've had that are genuinely incredible and delicious. All of the store brand holiday nogs every single one of them is bad.
Right.
All of the this one uses rice, this one's like rice water based, or this one uses soy milk, and they're all bad because they all like sub in the cream for whatever like non-dairy milk, but they all end up super watery, and so it tastes like you're drinking
Ew.
eggnog water, and they're foul.
Ew. No.
Oh man, I've had, I will say there is a non-dairy eggnog I've had that is store-bought that is good, and that is, hold on, I have it here on my nog log that I keep every year.
Sure.
It's just
You
I
gotta be
guess
you gotta be keeping a nog log, frankly.
it's not vegan, but it is non-dairy. It's the lactate nog.
Oh yeah, the
That
lactate.
makes sense though, because
Is
like
good.
there's so many good ways to replace dairy these
Mhm.
days. It's a little harder to replace egg, you know.
Yeah.
And like I've had several very delicious like homemade vegan like eggless nog varieties. Like my dear friend Liz makes one that uses that like subs in aquafaba as like the thickening
Okay.
element.
Oh
Mhm.
wow, okay.
That one worked really well. I've had some that like I've read some recipes and I've tried it and they've been delicious where they recommend like using a crushed up date syrup
Ooh.
Oh.
as like a like a syrup to kind of like provide a thickening element to something like a soy milk or an oat milk or something to kind of like
Sure.
thicken it into that eggy consistency. But like the problem is none of the store brand varieties do that, and so they all come out so thin that it's like undrinkable.
You do know a lot about
I
nog.
know so much
Well-
about this, and
I think
it haunts me.
last
Well, now
year
I'm excited because I want to know what the best one is because I'm gonna write it down. I love eggnog myself, so I am like
My-
So,
stoked to hear what you
best
think the best one
commercially
is.
available.
Yeah,
Best-
obviously, yeah.
I am biased because it is local and I know that it is not available in all places.
I
Okay.
know what he's gonna say.
But Penn Dutch eggnog hits every time.
I did not know you were gonna say that. Oh, okay, wait, that's the alcoholic one. Yes, I
Alcoholic.
did know what you were
Otherwise,
gonna say. Yes.
Matt, you do know exactly what I'm about to say.
It's the
which
Wawa eggnog.
Wawa eggnog hits.
Great,
Wow.
and Turkey Hill eggnog also very good.
Also good, but Wawa eggnog, you get the little thing. It's next to the strawberry milk.
So
You
good.
grab that, drink it on its own, add a little bit of alcohol if you choose. Wawa eggnog hits every time.
If you go into a good Wawa, right? Everybody knows there's like there's Wawas around, and then there's the good
You
Wawa.
go to the good Wawa.
You go to the good Wawa the week of Christmas. Somebody has dropped that eggnog into the coffee creamer section.
That's it.
One of the employees has dropped a eggnog into there. If you go to the good Wawa,
That's
Yeah.
where it's. I mean, that's where it's at. Like,
Well, that
so
doesn't help me at all. I can't. I live in Chicago. I can't go to Wawa.
Evan Williams isn't bad, and I think that
Evan Williams
one's-
is pretty good. As
It's
far
very
as like,
strong and alcoholic.
I don't like alcoholic eggnog.
Okay.
all right,
We're gonna figure this
difficult.
out.
I would say Nellie's
Nellie's.
is a good non-alcoholic.
The one that
Commercial.
the general recommendation, and here's my I think recommendation in general. This is my generalized advice.
Okay.
I am going to point you towards maybe not a brand, but like a signifier, I think, of like what's gonna get you good store-bought eggnog.
hmm
Carton, not jug.
Yeah. Okay,
Like-
Yeah.
Okay.
Every grocery store is gonna have like 6 different varieties of gallon jug eggnog, and like
Yeah.
that's gonna be mass produced. It's gonna be sickly sweet. It's not gonna hit. If you can find whatever like local brand, I don't know what the local like milk brand or whatever in your
Is in
area.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they
Well-
have United Dairy Farmers in Chicago? Or
Well,
is that
doesn't-
like an Ohio thing?
It does not sound familiar.
Okay. 'cause
I'll
we
say
have-
this. If you can find like a local farm that does eggnog in a glass jug, that's
gonna-
gonna be your number one.
That's gonna hit like nothing.
And then yeah, I agree. The carton eggnog. Yeah, Nellie's, you got Southern Comfort, which
Southern
is
Comfort's great. It's a little on the
mass-produced,
sweets, a little
but
on the sweet side, but like on its own, it's good. You can also, if you
It
you know,
has high fructose corn syrup in it, but it's very
Mm.
spicy, which I like.
they add a lot of that spice because they're trying to simulate the taste of the whiskey with just the spices. So it has a lot of that, and it's good.
Oh,
It
yeah.
hits.
Hood?
SoCo is probably if I were like in a chain store, like if I were in a Target.
Mhm.
And I was just like looking, and I was like, I'm gonna grab eggnog. I'm going to a holiday party. I'd probably grab the SoCo before anything else.
Yeah, honestly, that's helpful.
Now, I mentioned this earlier in this podcast, the 2.5 hours ago in this podcast. But worst eggnog of all time in my estimation, and I think I left you a Facebook comment about this last year the moment I tried it and had to spit it out and then dump the rest down the drain, is Bolthouse Farms, the smoothie company. Make fine smoothies. They make a holiday nog.
I'm so upset at the knowledge that a smoothie company is in the eggnog game, and I'm so upset that I'm going to go out and find this.
I complained about it on Instagram last year. I was so mad. Like, I went to their Instagram and I was like, how can you possibly make this? I was that angry with how bad this thing tastes, because it was like, there's nobody that drank this in the factory, either period, or there's nobody that drank this and knew that they should let it out the door, but they like did it anyway.
Well, here's the two aspects of how my life has become hell. Two specific ways in which my life has been ruined by making this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I have not been able to find, but I know I'm going to run into it one day, and I'm going to have to get it, and I'm going to have to drink it. I know that it's coming. When I tell you, I'm going to ask you this, and you might actually get it. If I were to ask you a candy brand to make the worst candy brand to possibly make a branded eggnog, it's tied to it being also a bad candy.
Is it Necco?
It is not Necco.
Okay.
Similar flavor profile on account of its chalky and stale and bad.
Oh my god!
Pez?
Pez is great.
I'll say this. It's weird that they're making this. They're trying to zero in on Christmas because they've already unfortunately cornered Easter.
When
I tell you want me to say it?
Yeah,
say
please.
it.
Peeps eggnog.
No! Of course they would, though. Of course they would.
Peeps eggnog like evades me because I have to get it out of my life. I need to have it once. I need to have it over with.
There are people that think like already Peeps is evil because there are people that thinks that's what marshmallows is.
Yeah.
There's people that do use Peeps as like for their s'mores and put Peeps in hot chocolate. There's people that for them marshmallows is Peeps. And that sucks. Can you imagine your only experience with marshmallows being Peeps? And then
that's not even possible.
Right.
No.
And then moving on to having your experience with eggnog being Peeps.
Well, but here's the other way that my life has become hell.
Okay.
And I truly mean this. When I tell you that I start getting people asking me around September if I will drink whatever the latest eggnog joke monstrosity is every year. So when I tell you that Hidden Valley Ranch Nog ruined my Christmas.
God damn it.
And it doubly ruined my Christmas because I had to I tweeted about this. Back when Twitter existed, I tweeted about this. And the Hidden Valley Ranch people, I'm bringing this beef into the public. They reached out to me and were like, we would love to send you some Hidden Valley Ranch Nog. And then they ghosted me. They did not send me Ranch Nog.
Wow, Hidden Valley. We've got some beef going on now.
So I had to wait until it was out in the world, find the recipe, and recreate it. And the even worse part, I got my hopes up because I read the recipe and I could follow the logic of it.
And so you're like, oh, this might taste good.
I was like, this might, because there were a few key things where the recipe very specifically was it's going to use the ranch dressing seasoning packet.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so we're just kind of using the herbs and spices. And then it was and we're pairing it not with something like a rum or a whiskey, but with a mezcal because it's going to have a saltier, smokier flavor that's going to pair nicely with kind of the dill and some of the other seasonings.
It's still okay.
And I was like, okay, sure. I'm seeing the logic here. And then they were like, and you're going to add cream, but you're not adding sugar to it. So it's going to be creamy. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be a little smoky. And I was like, okay,
all right. You're actually winning me over a little bit.
I almost see the logic of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was genuinely a pretty good barbecue sauce.
Ew! Oh, no! Oh, my God.
I took a drink and I was like, Yeah, okay. If I were to like marinate a chicken breast in this, I would maybe have a pretty good chicken leg tomorrow.
Oh no, I hate it.
I can see on a very vague level, right? Like the way the way you make ranch dressing and the way that you make eggnog are
I
kind
see
of
the
similar.
logic. I see the lot.
You get cream, you get eggs, you get spices.
And
That's
so,
like the
you're
two.
just trying
Both of
to, you're
them.
trying to basically, you're really trying to account for the dill. Like, more than anything, you're trying to make an eggnog where you can account for the flavor of dill.
Ugh.
One last nog question.
Yes.
Best alcohol to be in a nog.
Jen, my wife, uses bourbon in hers, and it comes out really nicely. Like a nice spiced whiskey also works really well.
Mhm.
If you like sweeter, like a spiced rum is also a really good
Yeah.
choice. So this was a segment we did on one of the previous Talking Dogs where I went into the lab where we made a batch of non-alcoholic eggnog and just spiked it with like all of the different like popular commercially available liquors to just see what happened.
Yeah.
Tequila, surprisingly good, brings out some of that like creaminess and sweetness in an interesting way. Vodka was fine. It just kind of tasted like you watered down the cream element.
Yeah, yucky.
The only one that was truly bad was the Scotch nog didn't work.
Yes.
That one was bad.
Ew.
Gin, better than expected. In part because like it had that juniper piney flavor, and I was like,
Yeah.
it had a Christmassy taste to it that wasn't what was expected. Weirdly similar to tequila, like sake also worked pretty nicely.
That's strange too.
Couldn't explain it, but like it kind of added that little bit of like sharpness or crispness or like brightness.
But so you lean whiskey over rum, it sounds like.
Primarily because I think like the nog itself like already has so much sugar and sweet in it that I think sometimes the rum, unless you're going for like specifically like a very dark kind of Jamaican rum, make it too sweet to really like make it into like a sipping drink throughout the day.
Okay. Well, that's some great nog advice from our friend Jeff Stormer, host of
Talking Nog.
Talking Nog and the Party of One podcast, and author of the now available book. Maybe.
Soon-
No, not
soon to
available.
be-
Soon available.
Now
is what I
available
meant
for
to say.
pre-orders, depending on when this
That's-
comes out,
yeah.
possibly available in stores, depending on when you listen.
The ultimate fantasy character creator. Jeff Stormer, thank you so much for coming and visiting us in the Christmas cabin.
Of
And
course,
thank you for playing the game as well. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I really did. I enjoyed it. This was a wonderful conversation. If you excuse me, I'm going to jump out of this window.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no! Oh, God! Oh, no! Oh, it's my knee! Oh, God!
Oh, he's fine.
Just close the window. It's fine.
Yeah, could you close? Yeah, could we just close that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Matt, I think
Hello,
that
Roses.
yeah, I think we've had a really great Christmas, and thank you for spending time with me and playing games with me. Because you know what Christmas is about?
Video games.
No, it's about well, no, it's about harassing your friends,
Oh, you're right. It is.
showing up unexpectedly at your friend's cabin while they're in a sexy Santa outfit, which nobody questioned me on. By the way, that shows what people think about me. I'm just saying, and talking eggnog and playing video games. And just thank you, Matt. Thank you for being here and being my co-host. I actually am very much looking forward to just jumping right into the new year with our show.
Me too. Thank you, Roses, for, this amazing first. We're not quite at a year yet, but this
Right.
is the first year of our show coming to a close, and it's been a really fun time, and thank you for playing these Christmas games with me, even though most of them were bad. And
I still had a fun time.
and hosting all our friends here at this trans-dimensional Christmas cabin. All right, you ready to drink the wassail bowl with me?
Okay. Do we have to?
By the way, yes, we do. By the way, we are part of Adventure Game Hotspot Network. Check them out at adventuregamehotspot.com, where they will have by now or very soon, there should be their Games of the Year kind of wrap up going
yeah.
up, which I did some write-ups for. And email us, mattamroses at gmail.com, and it'll, send us a nice Christmas greeting or holiday if you
Aw.
celebrate another holiday. Let us know what other holidays you
Or
celebrate.
just say hi.
Or
It's
just
cool.
say hi. Send us a picture of your Christmas tree or your menorah.
Aw.
Or you could tell us how much you liked the Christmas version of our theme song, and we'll pass that along to our very talented friend who played that piano part for us. All right, so you got your cup of wassail?
Yeah, I have my coffee here too as a chaser.
Okay, well, we might not get to our chasers. This might kill us, so
Okay, I'm ready.
bottoms up.
All right.
Oh, God! Oh,
Oh, it's worse than the bananas Foster mocha latte that I had the last episode.
the podcast is art to all.
To all a good night. And suffer.
We're dead.